will press the go live button.
Yes,
and
sir.
we'll see if it worked. Probably did, but good to double check. All right, we are live. Walky Talky.
Yo.
With the coolest guys of all time, we got Jay.
Yo.
And
who else?
Well, I see someone's being a little shy today.
You might say they're kind of mute.
Okay. Well, what are we doing today?
Well, okay, Oodie, you're a god, but Jay already told this story.
That's right. And for those who want to know, go check out JC.
I think we should have Purple Fang tell our audience what we're doing today.
Yeah, he could be, since he's like spectating, he can tell everyone if he wants.
Perfect. Well,
if Batman's there, he might be busy. That's why he's muted. I'm not sure if he's.
Okay.
Oh, the funniest thing you can do is say, we can wait. It's okay.
Well, the long-awaited, the infamous at this point, the Sasuke versus Neji. What's the debate? Is that the debate? I forgot.
Sasuke versus Lee.
Sasuke, yeah, that one. Sasuke versus Lee.
Yeah, the Sasuke versus Neji debate, the one everyone's talking about.
You can tell we're very prepared.
Sorry about that. But no, yeah, your instructor's here for the tuning exams. So we got Jay the Great repping Sasuke Uchiha.
Yes, sir.
And then we have, I was about to call you Toby because of your profile picture, but
sure.
Well, you can call me Mr. Walky.
You know what? To quote Toby, you can call me moderate Toby, whatever you like.
Oh,
You've
my
been
God.
good, boy.
But the Walky Talky podcast, you guys know the peeps. You got Mr. Waffle. You got Oob. So we're gonna make this go. They're repping Lee for the tuning exams. I'm assuming they're both tuning exam versions.
Yeah.
What's it called? But yeah, so that's
basically
what we got going on, guys, and the fight can commence.
Yes,
for
sir.
Obvious context, it's gonna have to be prelims Lee because the finals Lee is not in a very good state. Although we can make the argument, if we can do a bonus round for it. In fact, I'll say right now, we will do that bonus round. But for the majority of this, we'll stick to prelims Lee versus the finals Sasuke.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So those are the specific versions, folks. But yeah, you guys can begin if you want, establishing your premise, and I guess I could just go from there.
Well, okay. Well, I did want to add a couple notes. First of all, I said this last stream. I'll just quickly summarize what I said last stream. Last time we did this is to where Jay, I'm on your side on this one, but I'm gonna debate on Kamui's side.
Yeah, I remember.
We do have a lot of legitimate arguments, so it's not just me being ridiculous. Only halfway ridiculous. Well, to be fair,
what we should have done, this is the real issue, is vice versa. It should have been Batman, and him, the ones that rep Lee, okay, and then versus Jay and that guy, the ones that rep. That's what we should have done.
That would have been a good idea too, yeah, actually.
But it'd be funnier to do it this way.
Yeah.
Lee, I'm just saying, all right.
And to be fair, without Oodie, okay, we don't want to spoil anything, but a lot of things wouldn't have happened the same way if it wasn't us two together. So we're
all that matters, guys. Lee has that 10th gate, and he would have released it against Sasuke, and he would have won. So it's that simple.
There you go. So I will preface this by saying, Jay, this is going to be entirely unfair because we have so many arguments that, for the sake of time, we're going to have to do like every argument with you just reacting to it.
Yeah, let's see.
And more than anything, our goal today, it's not to win or lose. It's to make you perplexed.
So, Kamui, we did discuss this. should I just
Yeah, I
share
forgot
my
what we were supposed
screen?
to start with. I only remember what we're gonna end with.
Okay, I'll just share my screen, and then we can all just follow along as I say the arguments.
Just make sure not to overly read the words and focus on the pictures.
Yeah, so we're gonna scroll all the way up. Okay, so we'll start with the Sasuke, the anti-feat for battle IQ. So, Jay, did you notice when you were watching Naruto that Sasuke is stupid and wasteful?
Let's see.
Well, Sasuke wasted his stamina, which Lee pointed out Sasuke can't maintain that speed for as long as Lee can, by showing off his speed in taijutsu against Gaara, who could just put his sand armor back on anyway when Sasuke has Chidori, which would much more easily pierce the sand armor than the sand ball. And Gaara realistically would have just let Sasuke use Chidori anyway, given that Gaara let Lee take his weights off, etc.
Right. So, firstly, I would say it's not wasteful because trying to be in Sasuke's mind, more than likely, given his prodigal talent, he's more than likely testing the durability of Gaara's defenses, including his sand, including his sand dome. And simply put, he's trying to utilize less chakra, which the Chidori does take. As, if I'm not mistaken, he can only use a handful of them. So he's trying to test less chakra using means to see what pierces Gaara. And obviously, due to the failures he has early on, he then proceeds to use the Chidori, which does something that essentially Lee, with hundreds of strikes, including in the 5K, couldn't do, which is draw blood, which just shows a gargantuan gap in AP between Sasuke and Lee. But yeah, that's my response
Jay,
to that.
you're bringing up a good question I need to ask you now.
Yeah.
You're arguing that Sasuke is testing Gaara basically to see like how much chakra he needs and if he can use less chakra, draining attacks on the sand armor, right?
Yeah, essentially.
Well, as you just mentioned, Lee fought Gaara and Kakashi told Sasuke all about it. So he knows what's gonna happen if he does Lee's taijutsu on Gaara. So he's wasting his stamina.
That's presupposing that he believes he's equal to Lee, and given his high ego and high sort of confidence, he probably deduces that he's above someone of Lee's caliber, which is more than likely the case, again, given his confidence and ego, which resulted in many bad moments for him, including his ass whooping to Naruto at the Final Valley.
This particular fight.
Well, hang on, Kamui, because I think I have a compromise here that both of you will be happy to agree with. So, just to cut out the middleman here. Again, the argument
you're
here.
Being the middleman, to be fair.
Well, okay. To cut out everyone but the middleman here. So again, the argument here is battle IQ, and so it's stupid and wasteful. And we presented the wasteful thing and the stupid thing, and Jay contested the wasteful thing. And where Kamui and Jay seem to be going with this is, it sounds like we're all on the same page. Regardless of wasteful, which is in contention, Sasuke is definitively stupid.
I don't think I agreed to that because wasteful implies you're stupid. So the very fact that he's not being wasteful implies he's not stupid.
Well, you can be stupid without being wasteful.
And you can be wasteful without being stupid.
For example, I would argue having ego is kind of stupid.
Not necessarily. That's a double-edged sword. It depends on the, I guess, scenario that we are questioning and on whether or not ego is beneficial in that specific scenario.
You're not wrong.
Here, and then going back to what we were previously discussing, the original premise was he's stupid because he's wasteful. So
well, not because he's stupid and wasteful independently.
Okay, so if it's presupposed that I proven that he's not, why would he be stupid then? What other reason would there be aside from being wasteful?
Got it.
So to be honest, I was looking for something and I wasn't listening. Can you say that again?
Yeah, if I have proven that he's not wasteful, then why is he stupid?
Well,
What
I
other
don't know
reason
if
would there
you've
be?
proven it. You've given an argument for it.
Can you
But I wouldn't
refute
say
or
prove it.
Well, let's just say
Can
for
you
a second
present-
that he has proven it. So, what from there for the stupid?
Are you asking me to continue this argument for you?
Yes.
if either
Okay,
that?
All right.
Yeah, actually, go ahead. Yeah.
Okay. Well. This is what first I say. This is gonna be the dumbest thing that first popped into my head, but I'm gonna say it anyway. It's stupid that Sasuke's being arrogant against Gaara.
I would say being arrogant would be not improving his strategy in the very altercation because he improved upon it. He deduced at first, okay, let me attempt taijutsu strikes and to see if that level of force is sufficient to bypass Gaara's durability. He then deduced, okay, I've concluded it's not enough. I can't pierce it, and I'm just wasting energy. So I'm going to attempt something with that I know is provably higher in AP, and then it ended up working, proving that he has the IQ and the intellectual ability to deduce better strategies as he fights, and implying pretty efficient adaptation in the midst of battle, which shows that perhaps despite having high ego, he still has the intellectual ability to make better decisions as a fight progresses. Again, due to his prodigal talents, implying he's not wasteful and or stupid. So,
Well, counterpoint.
Well, Jay,
oh, go ahead, Kamui.
well, now I'm curious what you were going to say.
Okay. Counterpoint. It's pretty stupid to not start with Chidori.
Okay,
I would
very different approach.
Yeah, I would refute that because Chidori is the higher chakra usage ability. So he's essentially escalating his AP as he progresses. He goes from punches to kicks to then some more high speed attacks from a longer distance, and then finally concluding with the Chidori, which again succeeded. So it would actually be counterproductive to just straight up use a high chakra ability if the possibility of using a lower chakra ability bypassing his Gaara's defenses exists. So he's essentially problem solving and escalating as he deduces what works and what doesn't. So I think it'd be stupid to actually start with his like most powerful attack. It'd be like the equivalent of Sasuke using Kirin straight off the jump when fighting Itachi, which is not what he did. He saved that for the very end when he deduced he was unable to kill Itachi easily. So I think that actually is the most efficient strategy.
Before going to what I was going to say, I want to continue this. So hopefully I don't forget what I was going to say. But I have two problems. Okay, quote unquote problem.
Well, Kamui, I want to add that first of all, I agree with Jay, and I agreed before he said that. I was curious how he was going to say it, though.
Well, I don't think Kirin's applicable.
Well, because it's similar in like a lot of instances where opponents try and figure out the other opponent, like Naruto and Sasuke versus Jigen. They don't start in their full avatars, even though they're going all out from the game.
Oodie. That's not the point.
Okay.
That's a separate thing.
Yeah.
As far as Kirin goes, though, that's not really applicable because Sasuke can't do that Kirin at the very least without doing fireballs in the air and using Itachi's Amaterasu, and so on. It requires the setup. So he can't use the same Kirin first. That's not an option for him. Because even if he uses one with his own chakra, which he can only theoretically do based off Tenchi Bridge, it won't be the same as the actual lightning. So that one's not applicable.
What makes you say? What do you mean by it's not going to be the same? Out of curiosity.
Well, it won't be natural lightning.
Do you think it'd be stronger?
It could. Oh, it could be, but I'm just saying it's not the same. I'm not saying whether it's stronger or weaker.
Okay. I don't think it necessarily would be different.
I'm specifying that Kirin won't be the same.
Maybe against like Jigen, who could versus couldn't absorb it, but versus Itachi, I don't think the difference would really play out. But that's just my theory on that.
Well, it depends on how strong his Kirin would be if he were to try to do it without natural.
Whoa. Real quick, moderating time. You guys can't debate each other. You're debating Jay.
No.
Okay, to be fair,
wrong team. Wrong team.
Yeah. Okay.
So back to the Chidori point. Okay, so I understand what you're saying, Jay, but you also got to keep in mind Kakashi's training Sasuke to learn Chidori, to use Chidori on Sasuke. Sasuke has a limit to the number of Chidoris he can use per day because of his chakra reserves being a limitation. So he can use 2, 3 would be too much, minus curse mark, or else curse mark shenanigans or running out of chakra, things he needs to avoid. So he has a safe limit of 2 because of his chakra reserves. If Sasuke wastes his stamina, he therefore will have less chakra because he can't convert as much stamina into chakra. So he's effectively wasting his chakra. If he wastes his wastefulness, the most wasteful person of all time on his stamina, he will have less Chidoris to use versus Gaara. The thing he knows he needs, because that's what Kakashi taught him for Gaara, because Kakashi told him he needs Chidori for Gaara. So
Moderator, am I allowed to counter my side's own point? Because I want to.
Because technically, the opponent could say, "Oh, Jay has an idea," or he could take advantage and then go move upon that claim, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But if you guys are cool with it, like I don't care. And if Jay's cool with it, cool. But yeah, just say,
Well, unfortunately,
it's kind of like a plot twist. Like you're pulling an Itachi, you're like killing the whole.
I'll at least let Jay go first.
Yeah. So the idea that it's stupid to not go straight to a Chidori, the very idea requires a presupposition that he's using a lot of chakra using taijutsu. There's no indication that he is fatigued or growing significantly fatigued.
I disagree with that.
He might be growing, the pain that he is experiencing due to punching the dome and having the risk of being crushed by the dome with the sand sort of like engulfing his arm. That's there. But there's
Ignore the first image I just sent. Ignore the first image I just sent so I can now send this other image. Kishimoto, the author, is telling us through the get another image to go alongside this. Here we go.
I think I know what you're looking for.
So, well, that's fine. You don't need to know. You'll just
No, I said I think I do know.
Okay.
Just fill in the dead air.
If you're wondering, Huff is the Japanese symbol. He's huffing and puffing. So you have the first image is what Lee. I did this out of order. Sasuke comes first. Then Lee is saying this in response to Sasuke. So Sasuke is huffing and puffing, and in response to that, Lee and Kishimoto through Lee is telling us that maintaining that speed still expends quite a lot of energy, doesn't it? Meaning this is expending a lot of Sasuke's energy.
Yes. I would just need to be proven
the visible
to.
Sights. He's sweating. Obito wasn't sweating in the war.
Oh my god.
By the way, that's not a point.
Yeah, that's false dichotomy because he's way above everybody. But Sasuke, Sasuke. Again, I still don't think it negates that. I think what his plan was. Again, there's probably an argument to be made that his cardiovascular ability could be separated from his chakra reserves to an extent. But I digress. Going back to the point, he's still essentially deducing ways to bypass this armor without having to use high chakra usage because of essentially the volume of which he could use these attacks is much higher than a Chidori. Again, he only has 2, presupposing he's at full power. We just don't know how much fatigue is required to where he's only able to use 1, for example. I think that's kind of grasping for straws, and Sasuke would know better than we do on how much energy he's able to expend before he's down to just 1 Chidori or perhaps no Chidoris. So I believe that's simply conjecture that is baseless, and it's more logical to conclude that he knows more than we do, and that Kakashi probably also told him as well prior one training on how to approach this battle based off the Lee altercation.
But Jay, Sasuke uses Chidori in response to Gaara's Sand Shield. Would you agree with that?
Yes, after enough testing of it with his own taijutsu, yeah.
But if Gaara never uses the Sand Shield, how can you prove that Sasuke would have ever used Chidori without just continuously using taijutsu and wasting more stamina?
Oh my god.
I think it comes down to whether he draws blood, because he never did. I think regardless of whether or not he's using the dome or not, he still would have continued to test. And if he reached the point he does here, he would have came to the same conclusion. I don't think the form of defense matters more so than the results of his taijutsu's sort of effectiveness on Gaara's defensive more so.
The way I remember this scene is that they're both expending a lot of chakra because the sand shield takes a lot of chakra, and Sasuke doing the Lee speed takes a lot of chakra. And then Lee's commenting on how, oh, I wonder which one's going to run out chakra first. Oh, this is a bad idea for Sasuke. And then Kakashi says, no, it's completely fine. This is why I taught Sasuke the Chidori. So you don't run in the same so Sasuke doesn't run the same problem as you, Lee. Because Lee obviously didn't have a kill move in this instance. So in this case, it's almost like the Chidori is like the replacement for the gates if you put like Sasuke and Lee in the same situation.
Yeah,
you're close to how you're remembering it. The difference is, so Lee has his statement about using a lot of energy. Kankuro has his about Gaara using a lot of chakra with the sand armor. And then and then obviously Lee's thinking, well, that taijutsu alone can't beat Gaara.
Yeah, because he saw it with Lee.
You watch this, you know that the taijutsu won't work against Gaara. So why did he have him do this? And then Kakashi explains it was all to get him to the speed needed for Chidori here.
More realistically, because that doesn't make sense, just as like a small rewrite, how I would probably have Kishimoto have explained that is he wants Gaara to be low on chakra so that countering the Chidori would be more difficult.
Or another alternative rewrite, which is, you could argue is the case, but just saying it directly. And I know we're getting off topic, moderator, all right, let us know. Would be basically, because obviously in the hindsight, you can use Chidori while standing still. We see this. There's a little bit of a retcon with that. So you could just make it blatant. He needed Sasuke to be fast enough to make the Chidori strong enough to pierce Gaara's sand shield. So that's to say if Sasuke does standing still Chidori, it's not going to be strong enough. So he needs to be Lee speed plus Chidori.
Hey
to
guys,
be strong
if you pull the no kill move again, like Neji tried to do to Hinata, I'm gonna have to disqualify you. No, I'm just joking. I'm joking. No, keep going. You guys are good.
Yeah. No, I do get what Kamui's saying.
Good in the hindsight of the story. It makes perfect sense for the fight, and then it just like continuity wise, it keeps things more consistent.
So that's more consistent. I still think that's a little bit weird because obviously Sasuke isn't using the Lee speed exclusively for the Chidori. He's just randomly using it as well. So that's like also a little bit weird.
Well, yeah, at the beginning of the fight, he's just doing it.
Yeah, but again, if the reason to teach him the Lee speed is for the Chidori, then it's weird for him to use a Lee speed in this instance without it. But it's not the end of the world or anything.
He's got it if he wants to flex it.
Yeah, well, so with
wasteful, as the argument would say.
Yeah.
So with the arguments provided, do you guys have anything to add or to refute?
Well, I do want to add one thing. It's technically on Jay's side, but I'm just not alone. Sasuke, it doesn't matter if Sasuke. So this is just the weird thing, anyways, to where Kakashi says, "Oh, you gotta watch out, Sasuke. You only have like 3 uses of Chidori because you're chakra." But like, it seems like no matter how much how much chakra Sasuke uses in this fight or in the final fight of Part 1, he just has that 3 Chidori limit. Period. Like Sasuke can spam 100 fireballs and he'll have his 3 Chidori limit. It's like some completely other chakra reserve from his chakra reserves. Like he uses 3 Chidoris on this day.
How that worked out.
It's just weird.
Unless you could argue to make it make as much sense as possible is that Kakashi's saying it and he's implicitly saying it's not explicitly saying it. It's that within the general way of fighting style you have, so like Sasuke using taijutsu, maybe a couple fireball jutsus and so on. Like the way Sasuke fights, he's only gonna have 2 Chidoris.
Actually, okay.
Like, basically, it's to say Chidori's most of the chakra draining jutsu, but like he's factoring in the other stuff that Sasuke typically does. You could argue.
So Kamui, I would agree with that if not for seeing Sasuke's Chidori training, which seems to be only him doing the Chidori.
Okay, I agree. However, you can argue that off screen, Sasuke was just doing the lead kicks.
You're not wrong because Kakashi would have had to train him that anyways, so I could see that.
Yeah, I mean, he was training the taijutsu anyway.
Okay.
So, and we've also seen the fireball jutsu carve, craters into the ground, so that could have done some of the craters too.
Yeah. So going back, if you guys have anything to refute or counter my argument that establishes.
I had something that you said earlier, and to be honest with you, I'm iffy on it, but I can just present it for fun.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm glad you're down for this.
Oh.
So, do you think that Sasuke believes that he can hit harder than 5th Gate Lee's Hidden Lotus?
I think
an individual Sasuke punch will be harder than a 5th Gate Hidden Lotus from Lee. Does Sasuke think that?
I believe he thinks it. Knowing his high confidence,
Such
he
a weird
perhaps
question.
believes it, but I don't see how it'd be relevant in determining his superiority to Lee.
I will note, and I'm so sorry, Kamui, for being against you every step of the way here, but Sasuke never saw 5th Gate Lee, or really any Gate Lee, or the primary Lotus at all. But obviously Kakashi could show him to get him to the Lee level or whatever. We don't know if he did do that. He probably didn't do that, as a matter of fact. But
that's not how Kakashi explains it. No, I'm gonna be honest. Kakashi's explanation is kind of ridiculous, but that's besides the point.
Yeah, this just makes zero sense regardless.
Yeah. So without being challenged,
you have to be basing it off of whatever Kakashi tells him about Lee and the gates.
Yeah, that's the only information he'd have that could possibly be received.
Do you think Sasuke presumably is aware of the fact that he's Lee speed now, like around Lee speed?
He has
honestly, to him, as long as he gets Kakashi's nod of approval that he is within the realm of power and physical prowess necessary to at least compete against Gaara, I don't think he cares about his comparison to Lee. Obviously, it'd be ideal to hear, "Oh, you're faster than Lee," as Lee failed to ever draw blood from Gaara, which again establishes Sasuke's superiority. But in the end, all he needs is that nod of approval. And I guess you could argue that would involve Kakashi deducing that he has superior physical prowess to Lee, as again Lee failed to defeat Gaara even in the 5th Gate. So, yeah.
Because this scene is just weird in general. So, in case people don't remember how it goes, is Sasuke has the Sharingan, so he can copy other people's jutsu. So, Kakashi tells Sasuke to imagine how Lee would fight and copy your imagination. And Sasuke does that. Like, that's the explanation. Obviously, that makes zero sense. Again, he didn't watch Lee fight Gaara, but he's doing the exact same moves and everything. And Kakashi did watch it with the Sharingan and copied it, which is what it should have been.
He's actually basing it off of his, like, pre-first exam fight.
No, I know, but that doesn't really work anyways.
Sasuke's quote-unquote copy.
But he's not, though. He's copying the moves he did against Gaara, which makes no sense, because Lee didn't do that versus Sasuke.
Kakashi just did them for
exactly, but it's not explained like that, but that's the only way it makes sense.
Yeah, going back to the battle, because there's some red herring involved here. What do you think, besides, which I believe I've challenged, Sasuke being wasteful and stupid, what other reasons do you believe that are there to establish Lee beating Sasuke?
Well, I guess go into whatever's in your spoiler text, Oodie.
Okay, yeah, we'll go down to the next argument here. So
this
is
actually real quick. Okay, yeah. Real quick. We might as well do this. I didn't see it anywhere in our things. It might be in there somewhere, but so I'm gonna preface this by saying there's a way to argue against this, but I'm gonna do it anyway. So Jay, Oodie, go to that. Yeah. So what was that about Lee not drawing blood from Gaara?
Oh my god.
Where was that?
Well, this was in the Lee versus Gaara fight.
Let me see. I have to find that.
I'll send. Would you like me to send you the entire page?
Yeah.
Okay, 1 second. Let me zoom out.
Okay, Kamui, if you're doing this, you might as well go all the way and use the Lee is like omnipotent or whatever from the side text of this page.
Oh, I don't remember.
Okay, so we got the bottom text here. The man who cut the cheek of the man who can't be cut. Lee did something impossible. He did something that can't be done.
And also, let's search cut definition.
Oh my gosh, Robert.
To penetrate divider, resulting in the opening of, or injury. Cut person definition.
Low key, this is kind of changing my mind on this whole panel, Kamui, assuming the reason that you posted it is what I think it is.
Well, well, what do you mean? It's well, okay. I guess now I'm curious what you think.
Well, I'm gonna wait for Jay to say it first.
Okay.
But yeah. So, anyways, Jay, what is your interpretation here?
Okay.
It seems that it's not a cut because we later see in the next chapter that his shell is slowly starting to dissipate from his original skin, like his actual skin, and that cut is not present no longer. So I don't think I think that
just heal it.
He's a tell beast.
I mean, there's no indication of that. It's just what's indicated is that his shell is beginning to essentially like kind of come off his body, and that cut is no longer present.
Well, is Gaara's cut from Chidori ever present at the end of the Konoha Crush arc?
Oh, he's bleeding profusely. And he even says this is the first time
I'm gonna see if it's gone.
This is the first time I bleed. First time I bleed, he says.
Yeah.
Well, what if Gaara just didn't realize he was bleeding? He can't count the 6 after all.
The blood itself is what made him triggered. If that was the case, he more than likely would have reacted the way he did when he actually
but it
bled.
touched his hand when he triggered it. He doesn't touch his hand here, so he probably just didn't realize.
That's stupid.
He would have felt on his face.
What I will say.
Can you prove that?
Oh my god.
He has nerves on his face that would prove it.
Can you prove
This
that?
Kamui.
Yes.
We're not supposed to be the annoying debate, is it?
That's axiomatic. He wouldn't need a defense if he didn't feel pain. That contradicts. That proves it.
Well, that's not necessarily true, because pain just tells you you're injured. If he doesn't
He
feel
winces.
pain, he can still be
He
injured.
winces to punches as well. That indicates pain.
When you see him wincing punches, what do you
When
refer to?
Sasuke punches him. The end of chapter 111.
I mean, I'd be curious to see that.
I'm just curious.
So to counter one of the things Jay said on this, though, it's the idea that Gaara could have put the sand armor on after he got cut here, implying that obviously if the sand armor is over top of the cut, then you wouldn't be able to see it anymore.
Wait, what did you say? Can you repeat that?
If Gaara didn't have the sand armor on when he got the cut here, he could have put the sand armor on afterwards, and then the armor would be covering the cut.
No, the sand armor was already. It was still engulfed around his body. It was in the next chapter it started to crack. So that is most likely a crack in the armor.
See, it's weird because it's
Which
ambiguous.
chapter
So
did
that's
Chidori
the
have
thing,
again?
Jay. So okay, that's what I've been waiting for you to say. Even though you probably said it in other words differently earlier. But so that's I think what's supposed to be happening here. The problem is it's saying it's the man who can't be cut. So he's cutting Gaara, the man.
Ooh.
The man who cut the cheek of the man who can't be cut. That could just be the author trying to create this idea in our head that isn't really there.
It could, it could be
do
like
that.
narrator in present time who technically isn't an omniscient narrator, just to give that like misdirection to the audience. It could be that. I agree.
Yeah, and that happens. That happens multiple. That happens throughout the databooks. That happens throughout these captioned third-person statements. So it's more than likely that's the case, as evident by what happened in the next chapter with his shield, or rather his body shield, beginning to crack and the cut no longer being present, and the fact that he never reacted to any blood present, and the fact that he states this is the first time I've ever seen my own blood.
Yeah, and again, it's weird because like in the anime, especially, it's depicted as red, like as if it's blood, like it's like dripping even. Which is why, like, my whole life up until I made this video a couple years ago, I thought it was just cutting Gaara's cheek rather than the sand armor. But I don't know, it's weird anyways.
Yeah, the probability of that is low.
Mm-hmm.
I think it might be only the anime where you really get to see like Gaara is like, okay, there we go. Okay, based off where he's gripping it. Okay, this is funny. Okay,
Well, we have the anime pulled up on this video too.
Well, that's fine. Well, I just was gonna do it in the manga for consistency in case this was randomly changed. But okay,
this
so
right
based
here.
on this image,
Like this, it's like droopy, like blood here in the anime. It's not just a cut;
Could be
it's like droopy. It's weird.
Could be a sand.
I don't know why it would
Trying
droop.
to
Well, I guess
hold
his
itself
hand
together.
does droop other times, like when Naruto punches him when he's like transformed, kinda. But still a little bit weird. I don't know.
Yeah.
Looks bleedy, at least to me. But that's okay. Anyway,
real quick,
yeah.
I'm gonna look for another image because this is gonna get to a point. So it's a little bit of us finding out together here. But depending on the findings, this could get to a point or it could just go nowhere. Do you think okay, so the most recent image I said of Gaara is him holding himself after like the stab wound? Based on where he's holding it, do you both think that like the wound is like directly underneath his hand, meaning the brown shoulder strap thingy would have like a piercing puncture through it where the wound continues to go into? Do you agree with that, or do you think like the wound is only where his pinky and ring finger are? Like, do you think the majority of his hand is covering the wound, probably, meaning the brown part is cut through?
Do we not see, at least in the anime, where Sasuke's hand is hitting Gaara?
It's way too dark and grainy in the image of it, so it's like that wasn't as good as this image here. So
let me see.
Just based off where he's holding it there, what do you think?
I mean,
been wounded.
The blood is going down his arm, and I do think the rest of the blood could be because Gaara's holding it weirdly. But it could be either, I guess.
Like, but I do think it'd be reasonable that he's holding the spot.
I mean,
right?
yeah, that's fine. I think it's reasonable. Like, as an example, he holds his heart anytime, like, Kid Gaara feels pain in his heart. He's holding on his heart, so...
I mean, either way, from what we see, I don't think this is gonna matter consistency-wise. But, I mean, Jay, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, for the record, Kamui, none of this matters for the debate, and we're doing the thing I said, we're spending 2 hours on a single point, but
yeah. Well,
yeah,
you know,
it's just out of curiosity.
As long as Jay's okay with making a part 2, then we're okay.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I would say, regardless of the radius of this wound, that this is the first time he's ever dealt with his own blood and seen his own blood, as evident by his reaction here in comparison to his reaction in the Lee fight, which again just proves Sasuke's superiority. And I believe the Databooks state Sasuke is the strongest opponent he's faced up to this point as well, which further reinforces that.
Well, real quick, I don't want to get too far ahead here because the point in getting at where the wound is that we see Gaara heal this wound. So he does have healing.
Yeah, but this was a blatant tailed beast intervention. After he bled is when...
No, this is before the tailed beast is awakened. Like, it's like taking over. He's already healed.
I believe it started. Let me see. I was just looking at the chapter real quick.
If you look at the Tamari get away from here, Shukaku hasn't come out yet, and we can see there's no.
Even Sasuke says, "Oh shit, here it is." Even Sasuke says those weren't his eyes. What was that I saw earlier, implying the tailed beast has intervened?
Well, if you're gonna say that it's the tailed beast awakening, then Baki has similar statements in the Lee fight too. So we could just say the same argument happening there.
I think I saw the chapter 80, 82, 83. Let's see, so this was after. Baki's right here. Nice blood, yes sir. Alright, conjunct. The Gaara is not totally awake.
I mean, I do think that it would be reasonable for Gaara to have healing, especially when he's in his tailed beast state, because Naruto has it. You could say it's a unique property of the Nine Tails. Yeah, exactly. But it does seem like it's a property of all tailed beasts rather than just the Nine Tails, especially with like Boruto lore. But yeah.
Yeah, I don't see any indication of Baki alluding to the tailed beast.
When you talk about the
Okay.
inner demon awakening,
See.
it would be the very next chapter from the panel I sent. I'll just go find it for you because I'm not far. Okay, well, first of all, I already found Konkoro saying it, so is that good enough, or do you want me to continue to find Baki too?
Konkoro.
I mean, what's
After
weird?
you mean
I'm studying it.
What's weird about this is that Gaara's clothes have healed as well.
Well, to be fair, that wouldn't be the first time Regeneration's done that, so
You're not wrong, because like Madara, but like at the same time, when Naruto got the puncture hole in him from Chidori at the end of the part 1 fight versus Sasuke, that hole stayed there the whole time.
it's inconsistent. But
Yeah. Not wrong.
also, unless I skimmed by it, unless it's anime only or it's in a different spot. I know in the anime, Baki absolutely says the inner demon thing. Maybe it's just Konkoro in the manga is the difference, but I mean, the point's the same.
Yeah, he's not really saying demon. He's just saying the other Gaaras here. We could be saying the bloodlusted Gaara, not necessarily the tailed beast. Sasuke is directly referencing to a physical characteristic of the tailed beast after wounding him and saying, "Those eyes aren't the eyes I saw earlier." So physical
I
characteristic as
mean,
opposed
with
to.
the I'll still look for Baki anyway, but with the overall context that we know from the story, that I'm trying to look at something at the same time, that Konkoro would be referring to Shukaku. Would be more likely, because that is the other Gaara. Because Gaara is always bloodless. He always wants to kill people. That's not the other Gaara, that is Gaara in general. The other Gaara would be reference to the demon.
So once again, sorry to totally argue against you here, Kamui. I personally interpret this differently. I do think it is.
Here we go. Actually, that's fine because
Okay.
Konkoro straight up says it here.
Okay.
As he continues his thoughts. So here we go.
Gaara's inner demon. So you're not wrong, but you could also technically interpret this as metaphorical as well.
I agree. You can technically do that, but like the more likely interpretation would be the literal inner demon that he has and that the story wants us to know about.
I mean, at the very least, I would personally prefer if it's not in reference to Shukaku, but in reference to evil Gaara versus normal Gaara.
That's cooler, yes.
Yeah.
I don't think that's more likely at the very least.
I mean, we get the idea. They're also they're doing narrative things as well of being your tailed beast is what Gaara does versus using your tailed beast for power, which is what Naruto does. Shout out Swakaga. But yeah.
From what I'm seeing, I guess Baki is anime only there. Baki's cooler.
Okay. Well, I guess we're
now I'm
done
curious.
With that
Does anyone remember? I know that. Sorry, we're off topic all the time. But does Konkoro also say it in the anime? Do they both say it, or is it just changed to Baki?
I know the anime changes some things. For example, when Naruto's about to do his Rasengan against Kabuto, in the anime, it's Kabuto who says a certain line, whereas in the manga, it's Tsunade who's like, "Oh, if you die, your dreams die," or whatever. It's crazy they changed
exactly.
That.
Yeah.
Could be like the same thing here.
I do remember that.
But I do think the anime had like a reason to change that, whereas this would be a little bit more nonsensical to change. Not that there wouldn't be like a reason. It
wouldn't be the first time. This other example, I can't think of one off the top of my head right now, but I absolutely know there's just random things where a different character says something, because they just I don't know what the reason was. But.
Sure.
Yeah, I think the inner demon being there, even if I were to give you that, doesn't prove that he healed and that he was cut. That was he was saying that in a different moment when Gaara was about to summon all that sand upon Lee's body. So either way, it would negate my point, because when the cut dissipates, what's being referenced and discussed is his mother's defenses, which implies the sand that was covering his body, which again indicates he wasn't cut more than likely. So it doesn't really change anything, and two things can be true. He could not have the inner demon during the point where he didn't get cut, but rather his sand was dissipating, and the inner demon perhaps intervened slightly in the next chapter where Konkoro says that. If I were to give that to you, but it's still debatable in my opinion. He could just be interpreting what's happening as Shukaku coming out and just be wrong. And it could simply just be that. as opposed to
Oodie's
actually
right.
seeing, the One Tail slowly emerge after the Sasuke fight, implying Sasuke was just a greater force of nature, as stated in the Databooks. He was just a greater foe, and pushed him further than Lee ever did
Well,
because he's superior.
okay. We have Oodie. I'm gonna let you choose because going into this, we knew at some point we were gonna get to that statement. But so the question, Oodie, this is your choice. Are we going to postpone that part after we do more of our other arguments, or are we going to address it first for Jason?
So I'm sorry, what statement is it? I was addressing chat really quick.
The data book one.
I don't even know which one you're talking about, but we can do whatever you want, Kamui.
Okay,
which one?
Was for you.
Sorry, which one? Oh my god.
All right, Jay, say it again.
It's let me see if I can find it. It says that
what a mess.
During the fight with his strongest opponent, Sasuke wished his full body possession. However, the Chunin exams themselves were stopped due to the Konoha Crush, which outburst during his fight.
So the point there is the strongest opponent, I'm guessing, is what we're looking at?
Yeah.
Okay.
He's the strongest opponent.
So
do we
Kamui,
postpone that to even it out, or do we want to just get it for Jay out of the way first?
well, we could just get it out of the way, but I don't even remember what the thing here is that you want me to go to.
It would just be the next thing in line, like your spoiler text.
Is this addressing
okay, we
that?
gotta save the spoiler
That's
text one
not
for
that.
later. Yeah, we gotta save that one.
Okay, so let's just quickly go here, Kamui. Jay, close your eyes. Which one, Kamui?
Well, I'm not telling. I'm just saying. Like, do you want to move on to like the next one of our things, or do this for Jay first?
Well, we could. Yeah, I figured that's what you want me to look for. The one for Jay, is it not?
Don't know if he even wrote something specific for it.
Then what are you talking about, Kamui? Okay, Kamui, address it. I don't know what you want me to get to. Go ahead, Kamui.
You're a bad listener.
I'll post it.
Okay, so that statement can easily be interpreted as from Gaara's perspective, or not, if not from Gaara's perspective, from the perspective of a narrator saying for Gaara's opponent. Like, so, trying to word this. It could either be from Gaara's point of view, or for, like, let's just say Genma's watching the fight. And from Genma's perspective, for a matchup against Gaara, Sasuke is a better matchup to fight Gaara than Lee is. It can easily be from either of those two perspectives.
So, like, as an example,
so to say, it's not necessarily that Sasuke is stronger than anyone Gaara's ever fought, but also could just be he was the best counter to Gaara.
Yeah, as an example, like someone with water style or oil style.
In addition to that, it wouldn't address whether if Lee was a good counter for Sasuke as well, hypothetically.
I think there's infinite possibilities to any such said phrase, but we go based off what's most possible, or rather most probable, and what's most probable off the empirical data that we have. With that being, Lee couldn't, I think I've proven, couldn't cut Gaara, while conversely Sasuke actually wounded him to the point where Kushikaku visibly, not perhaps, but visibly came out, and the probability that the statement means Sasuke is the strongest opponent that he's ever faced is the most likely interpretation, or most likely correct interpretation of the statement. I think
but
there
when you talk
are
about
infinite.
The cut Gaara point, that gets into like piercing versus blunt force. Against Gaara, piercing can be a better tactic, because for another example, if for a different type of thing, like a boulder, a paper bomb might be able to blow up a big boulder entirely, whereas a Chidori is just going to make a small hole in it. The paper bomb is more effective against the boulder's defense type. So whether or not Sasuke can cut Gaara versus the blunt force punch, again, from Gaara's perspective of fighting Gaara, one is more advantageous, but it doesn't necessarily make it more advantageous in general against all things. It's not just necessarily a blanket statement stronger. It could just be more advantageous.
Again, it could be, but again, based on what we see empirically, that's the most probable correct interpretation. And when it comes to force is force regardless of the radius and surface area of effect. So if Lee, we can deduce at least 10 dozens to perhaps hundreds of punches, could never pierce the shell to actually physically harm Gaara, while conversely it took it took Sasuke with one attack being able to do the same against a higher density defense against a stronger Gaara as well. It just proves his superiority and his ability to exert greater levels of AP. So I don't think that point negates anything really. I think again he just has the ability to exert more AP. Regardless, Lee doesn't have anything in his arsenal, whether piercing or wide impact, to harm Gaara, even with just his body shell, let alone a higher density dome, which is something that Lee never even had to deal with in the first place. He dealt with a smaller thickness of defense and a weaker Gaara on top of that. So again, it's more than likely that this statement is a general statement, which is that Sasuke is a stronger opponent. And again, his performance in itself reinforces that interpretation more than likely being the correct interpretation. They didn't have similar performances. Gaara actually felt threatened and had a fucking mental breakdown basically against Sasuke. Well, conversely, he was smiling while almost breaking Lee in half, and Guy had to save his ass. So yeah, I think more than likely with what we do have, despite there being, nearly infinite interpretations possible, my interpretation is more than likely correct. It doesn't need to be definitive. It just needs to be more than likely correct, and the more probabilistic correct interpretation. That's all I need to establish, because definitivity is impossible in fictional reality a lot of the time.
So there's now either 3 or 4 things I can
Oh
tackle
my
from what you just
gosh.
said. I don't know what order, but I'll start with one of them. About the mental breakdown thing. Let me just go grab it real quick, because absolutely Gaara was freaking out versus Lee. I'm gonna send you that. He in fact said something he doesn't say about Gaara, which he probably wrote down somewhere.
We have that written down. Yeah, it's one of the first arguments.
Probably.
We'll get to that later.
Yeah, like here, I'll just in case it's not easy to find, I'll just send you this. So this is Gaara clearly freaking. Oh my god, navigating between these is so annoying. So he questions if Lee is a human. Does not question if Sasuke's human.
Yeah, he just starts screaming and breaking down. I think that's a more extreme reaction than having
he thought Sasuke was human.
Yeah, that's
And he
that's
questions if Lee is a human. A demon, mind you, is questioning this.
I think a more extreme physical reaction warrants a more scared level, or a higher level of terrifying thoughts, despite him not being able to. In fact, him not being able to even formulate thoughts and just fixating on the very threat that Sasuke presents. Again, is a more extreme and I guess useful reaction to establish. Again, my interpretation of that statement being the more likely one. He might be impressed, but he's not having a mental breakdown to the.
I'll say
where he's
something,
screaming.
Kamui, to where I do think
Again,
going. Oh, go ahead, Jay. Sorry.
Again, it's kind of irrelevant anyway, because the physical damage proves who has the greater physical prowess anyway. So it doesn't really matter what his reaction is to it. The very physical damage that we witness, that we observe empirically, is all I need to establish. Because if it comes down to statements can be debated. But if I have empirical evidence to establish that the statements he makes or the reactions he has, it just further, again, increases the probability of my premise being more so correct. So.
Low key, Gaara looks like an Edo Tensei with all the cracks on his body here. It's kind of cool.
He does, I agree.
Yeah, he does.
But that aside, to address Jay's thing, like Kamui asked, I'll say that I do think going into the fight, Gaara is clearly, obviously, undisputably way more hyped up to fight Sasuke than he was versus Lee. He has like the full moon blood and sand amp as described, or whatever. So going into it, he's a lot more hyped up to fight Sasuke. So Kamui, I think your argument would have to be during the Lee fight, he grew to be so hyped up that it's even more than what he experienced at his highest height versus Sasuke.
Well, you can make that argument. It's your argument. I'm not going to make it for you.
What do you mean? This is your... Oh my god, Kamui.
No, it's not, Oodie. We're supposed to, it's just,
This So much for getting this one out of
That's
the
not something
way.
I would have come up with, so I'm gonna let you do that.
Okay, well, he has a pretty crazy, wicked smile versus Lee. Does he smile versus Sasuke?
No, he just cries and screams against Sasuke.
There you
He's-
go.
So he's
Realizing-
crazier versus Lee.
No, I think he's more. It doesn't matter the level of craziness; it's the level of threat that he is.
Oh, actually, no. It does matter because as we see when Gaara goes crazy in the forest, he's going crazy. He gets hurt and he's just smiling. In fact, what happens? So you can argue, yeah, that's evidence that Lee hurt him more because he smiled.
Yeah, that's a purely speculative premise, but the fact again,
Well, it's
the way he.
consistent.
I don't think one instance or two instances proves consistency, but
Well, you can
going
argue
back to
whether
those,
it's a reasonable consistency, but it is consistency.
I think that's more of a red herring to steer away from the fact that Gaara's escalation of reaction and then eventually One Tail's emerging proves how much of a threat Sasuke was. Again, there was a physical indication that it was emerging. Sasuke actually said that wasn't Gaara's eyes that I just saw in that dome, in that hole. That's a physical indication of the Tail Beast, as opposed to us speculating what Kankuro meant when he said the inner demon, when there was no physical indication of the One Tail emerging. So again, that's why my interpretation is the more probable one, and that's again all I need to establish.
Okay,
I have the
Kamui.
empirical backing on my side as opposed to pure speculative logic, basically.
Kamui, you for some reason thrusted this argument onto me. All right, Kamui, you want me to make an argument here? Okay, Kankuro says in the Lee fight, the other Gaara is now totally awake. That's like 100%. So, okay, Shukaku's fully there. So, at the very least, you could argue equal interpretation. He's fully awake in both cases, but we don't even know if he's fully awake in the Sasuke case. In fact, you could argue he isn't because Gaara's trying to wake Shukaku up in the Sasuke one. It doesn't fully
we
complete
see
that.
shortly after, One Tail comes out, and that was a direct byproduct of Sasuke's physical prowess and superiority in comparison to Lee. Again, statements can be interpreted in many ways, but if I have empirical backing to substantiate mine, while conversely you do not, then it doesn't matter. If we go back and forth with possibilities, I have empirical backing to establish probability. So that's all that really matters. If I were to debate interpretation with neither one of us having any empirical backing, it would result in an infinite loop of inconclusive equal interpretation premises, essentially. So it would be essentially irrelevant and trivial to continue. But again, I do have empirical backing.
Burrito. Well, Jay, consider that maybe Gaara didn't need to do the sand bubble against Lee because Shukaku was already awake. Unlike versus Sasuke.
There's no indication of that. I would have to give you that, and I wouldn't do that.
I don't know. Well, actually, hold on. There is versus Dosu. Gaara didn't have to do the sand bubble thing to wake him up because Shukaku was already awake because that was the full moon, and that was literally that same day.
That was the Lee fight, or
yeah, it's all the same day. Dosu goes to kill him just later that night.
Yeah.
Wait, Dosu kills. Or Dosu dies like the night of the prelims? I thought it's the night before the finals.
No, it's not. It's earlier. It's shown to us later, but it's actually like a flashback.
So it's the night of the prelims.
Yeah.
Let's see.
That's crazy. So when does Hayate die? Is that the night of the prelims?
It's like right after.
Yeah. Okay, I guess so. If you say so.
They did like a several hours, several days, whatever thing earlier. So things happen and then they like cut back and say like this happened earlier already. Whenever it happened.
Could have sworn it would have been the night before the finals. But sure,
I'll try to find the exact chapter it's in. But,
sure.
So in an effort to make sure that Sasuke survived until they could fight, so he could kill him personally, Dosu challenged Gaara. Sasuke's first opponent.
Aftermath of it. Wait, what? Did this skip a chapter? Hold on. Let me go to Viz real quick. I don't get the titles when I do Viz, which is the most annoying thing of all time.
Just to make sure I was fully tracking, if you guys, or Jay, if you're trying to confirm if that actually happened or not, what's it called? The Dozu thing? Like, yeah, that did happen. Like, Gaara transforms into Shikaku to kill him. It's like the arm shit or whatever.
Yeah.
Well, actually, the
He
shadows
does
make
that-
it look
he
bigger
does
than
that
the
without
arm, but in the
the
anime filler and the Shippuden, we see a version, like a mini Shukaku version of Gaara.
Yeah,
but
it's like
in
the
the
same
manga,
thing.
we just see
Sasuke
some
fought,
big
yeah.
shadows.
Yeah. But yeah, just depends on however you take it. But either way, if you only consider manga, it's still implied he transforms immediately. Anime just shows him in the arm form, that the same form that fought Sasuke in the fucking forest or whatever. But it's interesting though. It clearly does show like he can transform whenever, but you know the whole dome thing. What's it called? It's interesting. But again, that's with you guys. I'm not gonna get involved. I was just confirming
Yeah.
that did happen though.
Yeah, I definitely know it happened. Yeah, either way, Sasuke's performance proves his superiority, and Gaara's
Well-
fear proves it as well.
So, okay, there's different ways we can approach it, but Oodie, I think this one we can go right back to our J debate room.
Sure. I
Hey,
mean,
just
I will
directly
just add,
comparison,
Kamui, he's just blatantly talking to his mom like the whole Sasuke fight, and he's not really doing as much recently. I think it's kind of obvious in that regard, but... so where do you want to go?
Yeah, like, talking to his mom nerfs him.
Well, yeah, no, he is actively getting, like, headaches, and, like, his hand is just falling apart, so it's like he is just nerfed
Yeah.
in that regard. Also, I do just want to add, Jay, for the sake of, Gaara's never been hurt before, well, that's an inconsistency. Headaches are physical pain.
Yeah,
also,
but
also,
not
no
inconsistency. We mean
Gaara's
by
never been touched. When we see Kankuro touch him before that scene.
That's true.
yeah, he's
No,
never
it's
been
clearly an
damaged.
exaggeration regardless.
His body's never been physically damaged by an opponent. That's the exact type of harm that we're referencing to.
Yeah. But
Now, if
anyway,
you just scroll down, Oodie.
okay, so wait, exactly here.
So to clarify for this is not referring to Chidori at the moment anyway.
Okay,
this is
so it
going to
is
be
this.
taijutsu to taijutsu. We see.
Okay.
So Lee's damage is on the left, and Sasuke's damage is on the right.
That's
Lee's taijutsu did more damage.
He also had more shots at Gaara as well. He threw like dozens to
No,
hundreds
this is
while
actually not true. this is like the beginning. Like this is.
I don't
pretty
believe
early.
so. I think that was after that he had that little like thing on his cheek.
oh my gosh, Jay, you're gonna hate me. You're gonna hate me. Gaara's bruised here. that's
Oh my god.
that's a bruise.
That's a sand specks.
Well, there is also like gray coloring if you see.
Yeah.
Yeah, but bruises aren't
So-
gray.
It's like kind of
Well-
purplish, bluish, or whatever this is.
Manga coloring.
Nah, those are all the same color.
Okay, you can't say they aren't gray. Look at my defenses are failing image. These are the same gray. These aren't purple.
The what?
If you go to the regular chat room,
Oh,
the,
you mean
the
up
one
here?
that we're in, good call
Yeah.
with, yeah.
This?
Like these are gray
okay.
bruises that are on there too.
Well, these aren't bruises, Kamui. This is just the sand chipping away.
No, like the things that aren't like the lines that aren't the cracks. The ones that like Kishimoto draws on any face. Can you not tell what I'm talking about? Like, okay, to the left of his eye, above the sweat bead. Oh, no, right above the sweat
This
bead.
thing, okay.
That there, yeah. That's something that Kishimoto would draw on like any face
Okay, yeah.
when there's battle damage bruises.
Anyways.
That's not purple.
Don't know what the point that was, but I agree. It's not purple.
Well, that was to say when he said like they're not gray. It's like, well, I mean, it is.
Oh,
consistently
okay,
not
yeah. So
gray.
that's like
So
that's
not,
to
like,
show the difference.
abnormal.
Yeah, this isn't a bruise, whereas the other one is a bruise. By the way, is this like official coloring or is this like fan coloring? I have no idea.
I don't know because everyone makes it seem like this is official, but I don't know. But just for another example, I guess of the what I just said about the bruises thing, like if you look at Lee, his bruises are drawn the same way. Just take this picture. So it's again like he has like the thing I pointed out. like Lee gets bruises drawn. This is
Yeah.
a darkly shaded one. I can send you a zoomed out one too, but I didn't want you to say, "Oh, it's zoomed out."
Yeah,
so
because
I'll
you can
send this
see,
too.
like, regardless of the like chicken scratch lines, it's got like a darker shading. Yeah, the like purplish bluish
And then,
shading.
like I have a zoomed out one there. It's the same idea, but zoomed out obviously. But
Yeah, this one doesn't really have a different shading, but yeah. Well, kind of a little bit. Anyways, this was
But it's
not
also
the
really-
argument. This was just something I
here's
randomly
another one.
noticed.
Yeah, here you. Here. Actually, here's them side by side, just to show you the bruising. There you go.
Okay.
Also, wait a minute. Wait a minute.
That is getting
wait
bruisey.
a minute. Jay. Okay, I'm just curious how you're gonna counter this. I'm just gonna send you this picture and let you do what you want to do with it.
I mean, not gonna lie, Jay, this just further proves my point that regardless of what is the case, it's weird. Because if it's the sand armor, why is it doing this? It would just have, like, the line. Like, look at Obito's mask. It doesn't do all of this when it gets cut by the kunai. It's just the line. That's it. Same idea. Just weird.
Also, I looked.
Yeah.
That's only Lee's second hit on Gaara. It looks like that when the face crumbling looks like it's the second hit.
Okay.
And Sasuke never gets to that point, like with his punches after like 5. So,
Yeah, wherever it was.
Let me see.
but also look at the Tamari thing I sent.
Okay.
Oh yeah, she could just be wrong. I mean, I don't think Conqueror and her were both wrong because we saw that.
Well, what if Gaara's
all
wrong
that.
then?
Wrong about what?
First time he's been injured. If Tamari can be wrong, why can't Gaara be wrong?
Mm.
That's an oxymoronic phrase because how could one be wrong about being damaged and the other one be wrong about not being damaged? It would be it's not
Well,
they can't
the
both be
point
wrong at
is,
the same
yeah.
time.
So one of them's wrong. I'm saying, why can't Tamari be right and Gaara wrong?
Because the shell starts to dissipate and we don't see that apparent cut that you guys claim to be there anymore.
And like I said, Gaara has healing.
There's nothing that proves that he has healing.
I mean, I showed you earlier, like he healed the Sasuke's Chidori. And by the,
That was
when we're
after
in the
that
forest,
was a 9-tail intervention. Oh, excuse me, 1-tail intervention.
the one tails is the demons awake. They say it.
They could just be wrong. There's no physical characteristic indication like Sasuke where he says
It's a
those aren't
full
his
moon
eyes.
at night. It's the day of the full moon. That's when the Shukaku's blood boils the most
was it
on
here?
that day,
Also,
According
what
to
do you
the data books?
according to Gaara and the databooks.
what do you mean by
But Gaara
One
straight up
Tail's
says it when he
intervention?
those two.
Because the
That could
images
be
that
that could
Kamui
be a
posted
that could be
was before.
metaphoric. It doesn't need to be literal.
Yeah, here.
Well,
Because this is before Gaara starts transforming into the One Tails at all, and it's
Exactly.
already healed.
the one tails isn't out here.
Which would be the same versus Lee.
And the as I said earlier, the wound of him grabbing his wound is after the sand ball. So the one tails came out, as you said. The wound's still there. The one tails goes
true.
away, and while it's gone is when this wound gets healed from like 0 to 100, or if you want to say it's 5% to 100. The majority of it's healed.
Yeah, because if you remember,
When-
Shukaku's like
Okay.
hand or whatever comes out of the sand ball before Gaara undoes it after the Chidori. Then Gaara's still not healed there.
It was a greater wound. I mean, it was quite the wound. Maybe it doesn't heal instantaneously, but I don't see how that negates.
Well, that's the
Then
point.
the
Is the
one-tail
small
intervention.
wound from Lee can be healed quickly. That doesn't negate that there's a wound. A bigger wound would
That's
take longer.
presupposing I agree it was a wound, which I don't.
But why don't you agree with it? We have a statement and an image to prove it.
I don't. That image doesn't prove it's a wound. It could be the crack of the sand.
It's got red blood and bruise marks, just like Lee.
I mean, this could be argued whether or not they're bruise marks. I'm not going to necessarily agree.
Well,
that
I
they're
mean, look at the
bruised-
Lee one
bruised.
side by side. It's the same.
And
marks.
again, the sand is still engulfed around his body as well at this point in time. So how could he bruise? Or how could a
The
bruise be
went through.
observable if sand is still engulfed around his body?
Well, but that's what I
Lee
was
doesn't have that.
saying, because okay, but Jay, so outside of the debate, so off the record, we agree. This is weird to draw it like this. Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I would say logically, from a writer's decision perspective, they did that to throw off the very fact that Gaara has this, because we didn't know coming in when the chapter was brand new, obviously, that he had sand wrapped around his body, so it was to throw us off.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah, I mean,
That happens all the time. Happens all the time. Like when that statement about Taka Sasuke or Heavy Sasuke being superior to literally all the Akatsuki, only to then get his ass whooped by Data or to stalemate Datara. That's literally misleading and a blatant lie to have us perceive something as something it's really not for the sake of the plot. Happens all the time.
Yeah.
But then we learn the truth when the actual
wait, hold
event
on.
takes place.
If that's the case, we can just say the same thing about Sasuke and Gaara. It was just a blatant lie to mislead us.
I mean, I don't think so, because the One Tail came out and Gaara. I think that's a false dichotomy. These events weren't equivalent. Gaara's reaction was far different in the Sasuke fight to the Lee fight. If his blood was actually visible, and it's the first time he sees.
Well, actually, to be fair, no, Gaara can't see it because it's on his face.
He'd feel it. He would feel it, and it would drip.
Well, again. This is very weird. It drips. We see it's dripping. It's goopy. Let's see. What was it?
Oh, did we have it in this video?
Yeah, it's in this video. It's right here.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
like goopy here. Because like we
can
also see.
Can also do that.
We can also see like what it looks like normally here. So this is what the crack looks like. But then you have like this other red goopy layer on top of the crack, rather than it just keep going on. So it's just weird.
Sand the way it operates with chakra holding it together and strikes, causing blows to his shell. It could just simply be, as he takes more blows, the sand could begin to fall and kind of trickle down like blood could, basically.
I see what you're saying. My problem with that would be it's just inconsistent from how it's drawn elsewhere, like here, where it's like chipping off.
I mean, both could be true. It doesn't need to operate in a linear fashion. The sand is malleable. It's trying to stay on his face as much as possible. It can crack off. It can trickle off. It appears that slicing attack, or not slicing attack, but rather that sort of slice he has in his face was more than likely from the edge of Lee's foot, kind of striking his face in a very in a more piercing manner, rather than a blunt force trauma, which causes like more these kind of like chipping effects that we see in this other panel.
So I see what you're saying. I do think as like a small rewrite, which is again like not really debate related, I think I would just have that be explained in universe as the different types of sand, since they're already doing that anyways. For example, some sand is stronger because it's infused with chakra from Gaara, like Gaara's gourd sand is stronger than the desert sand randomly. So I'd probably use that as the explanation, because again, we do see like some of the sand here from the sand arbor chipping away, unlike when Naruto is fighting transformed Gaara and like punching him, and the sand is just like drooping away. Then that's like a different sand, because that's like Shukaku sand. But then again, like also Shukaku just cracks away when Naruto headbutts Gaara at the very end, so that's still inconsistent technically. But either way.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, Naruto is very amped when he does that, but so his levels of AP vary. As his strikes, the AP in his strikes vary depending on his mental amp or his mental nerfs. But again, I think the strongest piece of empirical evidence that either side has is Gaara's reaction in these altercations. He never has a essentially mental breakdown. Yes, he's impressed by Lee's speed and things of that nature, but he's never pushed to the limit where he is literally like trying to talk to his mother and is screaming and things of that nature. So that is the strongest piece of evidence in this entire discussion.
I have a funny argument.
Essentially illuminate.
So a funny argument. Kamui, you're gonna like this one. It's funny, but it's also in a way serious. So Gaara could afford to do that versus Sasuke. If Gaara did that versus Lee, he would have just been overwhelmed and lost.
I mean, that's via Occam's razor. I could just disregard it. There's no substantiation for that.
Okay.
Possible, just like it's possible that pigs could fly, but I could just disregard it because there's no proof.
Okay.
So, okay, I want to see what Jay has to say about this. So, what I posted in chat here, it's going to be the first hits, Sasuke and Leland, and the second hit, Sasuke and Leland. So Sasuke's on the left, Lee's on the right both times. Both of them get one punch and one kick, too. So, start with the top, what's the recent things I sent.
Oh, okay.
Below that. I read it and made it better. So, this is Sasuke's first hit on Gaara. Now, look at Lee's first hit on Gaara. It's already there. No.
Yep.
Side by side.
Okay.
This is Lee's. So Lee gets a bruise and a cut. Sasuke only gets cracks. Now let's go to the second hit. Next message. Sasuke gets this. And Lee gets this. Lee consistently did more damage per hit than Sasuke.
Higher AP.
Just taijutsu versus taijutsu.
Which
Again,
is
I think
even more
the
impressive
nature of
if
hits-
Sasuke is a stronger Gaara.
Exactly. If
Gaara,
Sasuke's
well,
stronger
first of all,
and his taijutsu stronger, this wouldn't happen.
Gaara is, as we could tell from how these shinobi progress, they gain stronger. They gain strength over time, so he's probably stronger than when he fought Lee. First of all, second of all, the first hits, the nature of hits matter. Again, the kick that caused this. Again, I'm not gonna say it's a cut because I don't think there's any proof of that. That causes this is sort of a kick that more than likely resulted in
Well, Jay, to be honest with you, to cut you off for a second, this cut doesn't make any sense.
punch
Lee
from
hit Gaara
Sasuke
like the
causing
top of the
cracks.
head. Lee hit him like the top of the head. I don't know how this cut got there.
Okay. This just goes back to, again, this cut makes no sense. Outside of this debate, we can all agree
That's
this
not
cut
where Lee
makes
hit
no
him.
sense, regardless.
Yeah.
He took his leg and chops down with it on top of Gaara's head.
Yeah.
That's not where he hit Gaara. In fact, I could probably find. Let me go back and look at the panel of him hitting Gaara. Again, this is off the debate for a moment because obviously this doesn't help us in any way. I mean, maybe in the manga, okay, in the anime it might be different. In the manga, you might be able to argue that I guess that Lee like hit him in this way.
It doesn't make
What do you
sense
think?
for Gaara's head to like
I would say
recoil
it's
downwards
like
the way it
This
does.
is off the debate. Since it's a since it's a downward motion, like, yeah, his head's going down, but he still creates that wound on his face. You know what I mean? Like,
But like, why
But-
would
but
his
I
head
think
go
the manga looks
down
like
if
it's
it's just
clean.
like a clean cut?
Yeah, it's
like
a little bit
clean-
weird.
yeah. And even like in MMA or UFC, like when you throw a punch or a kick, whatever, you can cut someone's face from it.
No, I
Like,
completely agree. But when you do that, their face isn't usually like recoiling in the way.
Well, it depends.
I
Well,
this is
basically,
like-
the way
I
it
know
works-
Lee
Yeah,
hit
if they hit him,
makes sense.
if they put their weight in the downward motion, absolutely, their body's shifting that way as well.
No, so I see what
Like,
you're
they-
saying.
but
Like,
it's also
anime is
this-
a better way to see this technically because you can only gather so much from a picture. It's the same thing comparing like a video clip to a photo, you know. But at the same, like with the anime, like even then, I'm pretty sure it's also similar. Just shows him going in a downward motion, and then boom, and shows the wound he created. Like the emphasis and implication is very like emphasized that his kick caused that wound on his face. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Well,
Like-
it definitely did, but it just if I could be misremembering, but in the anime, I feel like it might show him hitting him in like in the top of the head or something.
You know
but
what?
Maybe it's just unclear.
Okay, I do have one possible interpretation. If you
Yeah,
guys,
some dumb shit though too, like when fucking Edo Bone Man did all his bones, they were fucking swords and not bones. So I'm just saying. animation
yeah,
is
no, the
perfect.
anime is. Yeah, I completely agree. That's hilarious that you mentioned that. One possible interpretation. This is crazy. I don't think this is what they were going for, but I'll mention it anyways. You guys remember when Sakura punches Kagi at the very end? She punches Kagi in the back of the head, but like the front of her face has the
Yeah.
injury because it could just be like the exit wound, quote unquote. It's like that's where the force
look,
goes
his
out.
brain rocks forward and bruised his cheek.
I think the way the trajectory of the kick can be argued to be on the right side of his face, and because his cheek is parallel to the side of his head, the kick could have just also impacted that side of his face and caused that sand to crack. So that's possible as well, based off the trajectory of his kick and where the location is possibly at in correlation to Gaara's face.
Like, that's another thing. What Jay just said too. Like, if you hit something harder, like an eggshell, like you tap the egg on something, a crack comes, right? You know what I mean? So if you hit enough force on something and you can bypass the durability, again, the egg as an example, cracks form, right? You know, so there's that too.
So I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
I agree, and I was going to make a similar analogy. Like if you punch someone with brute force, you can open a wound and it would be a cut, but that's different from a slicing motion, because in one, it's applying force to an object. On the other, it's just applying it downwards. So if because that's what should be happening here. It shouldn't be that, because it should be that Lee's slicing with the back of his foot along Gaara's cheek. That shouldn't force his head downwards. Because what should be happening here, hypothetically, if Lee is hitting the top of Gaara's head, then the cut should be on the top of Gaara's head. And that wouldn't be inconsistent for it to be a cut, despite it being just like a brutal force hit. Because it could just be a wound that cut open. And that'd be fine if the head's being forced down. But here, if it's just slicing downwards on Gaara's face along his cheek, then his whole head shouldn't be going down as well. If you get what I mean.
I think it could be argued that
you could swing him down.
I think it could be argued that the very fact that the force didn't cause him, well, you could argue the sand also helped him not fall, but the very fact that the kick didn't cause him to just face plant into the ground implies that I think both are not mutually exclusive. You could have sort of a slicing attack, but also have an impactful attack at the same time. That is possible. They're not exactly mutually exclusive. Obviously, there is a big difference between being penetrated by a sword and being hit with a sledgehammer. But there is an in-between where you have sort of like a attack that kind of distributes both kinds of force, and that's more likely. Again, I'm not going to admit, but the crack on the sand, the sand crack, I think was from that kind of attack, more likely.
What's the red-haired guy's name? Akashi. Okay, so it's Akashi. So you guys remember when Akashi uses the knife? If you guys have seen Kuroko no Basuke, he uses the knife.
I don't remember because I haven't seen it.
I know you haven't, but he uses a knife to cut the really tall. Yeah, this. So he cuts this guy's cheek by like grazing it because he like dodges out of the way. But obviously, so that's fine. It's a slicing motion. It slices his face. But based on the way the force is going, obviously this guy's head isn't being like recoiled backwards from the cut. It's not really. Oh, it's also scissors, not a knife. That doesn't really make a difference here. But like the idea here is that if it's like the same idea as what's happening here, then like you guys get what I'm saying, to where obviously the head wouldn't recoil here because that would only logically make sense.
That's why I'm thinking,
here,
depending on the force. So if Lee has enough force in it, I think it could be possible.
Well, I don't think so if it's like a clean cut, because it's going all the way through. Like it's exiting out of the bottom of the cut, obviously. Because
yeah, but
the foot stops here.
Again,
it stops
Lee's
touching it.
sandals probably shouldn't do a cutting motion like this, but I'm imagining like he just like barely grazes it in whatever way so that he can just barely touch his cheek and no other part of his head. If he did it with enough force, I could see how Gaara's head might like swing down, recoil down. The question though is if the force was that high, would the damage on the cheek have to be greater? But that might be like a physics related thing that like obviously Kishimoto's not thinking about. But
yeah. But yeah, going back to the debate, I just think again.
So
yeah, the empirical. Yeah.
So I've seen the most. Well, real quick. This isn't relevant, but Gaara looks like Shukaku in the second to last image I sent. But the last image, Gaara says, "Oh," he never says that versus Sasuke's taijutsu, but he does versus Lee. So that's Shukaku looking Gaara. You could argue he's transforming here, but I'm not. But here, he's saying, "Oh, in pain." He doesn't do that versus Sasuke.
No, he screams and tries to speak to his mother.
Taijutsu to taijutsu right now.
You could argue this is him wincing in pain.
Which also, I did not find whatever you were talking about with that with Gaara.
I think he said at the end of chapter 111 or something like that. I don't remember.
Yeah, that's why I was confused about the wince. What he was referring
wincing
to.
From Sasuke's punch, but again, I don't know this.
Yeah, at the bottom, at the end of chapter 11, right hand.
Well, it's definitely not chapter 11, but
111, yeah.
111. Okay. I was gonna
His
say, I don't
face-
Oh,
regard
you
it.
mean
and
like
reaction.
okay, is this what you mean? Like the panel of him being punched, and he has
Yeah.
like his teeth, like I guess grit.
He's basically what's the word I'm looking for? He's bracing for impact, waiting for the pain. You can see the pain as it strikes him, like his eyes, the wince in his face, like the wincing
Well, I think
facial
this
expression.
is striking him because he already has cracks in this panel, so I think this is the
Kamui, if you want to
impact
post
moment.
it, would be
Yeah.
helpful.
Because like he shouldn't have cracks otherwise. This is Sasuke's first punch. So
Yeah.
Sasuke, and you can even see the marks. Like so, Sasuke. You can argue it's drawn weird, but like Sasuke has hit him.
And it caused him to fucking fly, which it's pretty impressive.
Well,
Well, I mean, Lee.
if we're comparing opponents who made Gaara fly, I think I know an opponent that made Gaara fly a lot more than Sasuke.
Yeah.
When you had more taijutsu exchanges, or not exchanges, but rather opportunities.
No, but I see what you're saying, like wincing. I think it's arguable whether this is pain or if it's just Gaara recoiling from the force of being pushed backwards in general. In the same way that like Naruto, like if you guys have read Boruto, in the code arc, you guys have her, in the code arc when Boruto pushes Naruto away with like the Gale Palm right before Boruto asks Kwaki to kill him, Naruto's like a recoil thing from that, but he's obviously not hurt from that.
It was never meant to be hurt, and he wasn't hurt after. We see that.
Yeah. It's like some idea. Could be.
Gaara's also not doing the
Because again, I think it's a little bit, I guess, arbitrary to consider this wincing in pain, but then to say this definitely isn't. Because it's like the same idea at the very least.
I think the very fact he
this one
needs
has dialogue
defenses.
to support it.
The very fact he needs defenses implies he feels pain. It would be irrelevant to have defense in the first
Well,
place.
I mean,
if he
to
didn't
add to
feel
this,
pain.
he's trying to defend himself with his arms in addition to his sand armor here.
But against Sasuke, he uses a higher density defense than he ever uses against Lee, and that's before the Chidori. So you could deduce that he hit so hard that I need to use a level of defense that I did not need to use against Lee, even in the 5th gate.
What makes you say he has a higher level of
That's not why
defense?
he's doing that ball. The ball is so he can transform into Shukaku, because that's what he wants to do.
Well, he said before the ball. I'm curious what you are referring to with higher level of defense.
He's saying the dense. Let's see, where is it?
That's the ball. If you're looking at that's the thing I sent earlier that I never got to. That was the sand ball itself.
You could
That's
argue that
that.
Gaara's sand clone could be that, but I don't think it is, because Sasuke just like knocks it out pretty easily, and just like I think with the kunai even.
To keep going.
Because both Gaara and Lee, I think, are like cutting the sand with the kunai, which is kind of funny, but
Yeah, I mean, yeah, Lee does cut it with a kunai.
yeah.
Well, Lee also, we have it somewhere about Lee tanking that attack there. If you want to go.
We'll get to. Yeah, so technically, this would be like Lee higher AP than Sasuke is the technical argument here, but yeah, for like the whole thing here.
Yeah. Based off the damages and the the pain.
For moderation purposes, though, I think just to make sure there's no disconnects or anything. I think Jay, what he's going out is saying Chidori is superior, blah blah whatever, and did everything it did. And then you guys are analyzing taijutsu to taijutsu.
Well, yes, we are doing that because we're going to come to Chidori. I mean, we can make Chidori arguments, but we want to establish some baselines.
Oh, okay.
To be fair, we're clearly doing different orders. Jay wants to do Chidori. We want to start with this, which I realize is a disconnect. And so we're just someone's going to have to just take the L and just do what the other one wants.
Yeah. No, you're good. I was just making sure we're all on the same page. This way we're not. Yeah, that's all. Okay.
Kamui, I have a funny argument against you. I just randomly thought this right now. Sasuke is faster than Lee. You know how you know? Sasuke's hand is farther ahead than Lee's.
No, it's not.
He moved a farther distance.
Wait, actually, no, never mind. I was thinking that Sasuke had the bandage. Wait.
What is happening here, actually? Actually, no, I'm confused what this is. now that you say that, you're right.
Yeah,
It's weird.
It's like, hold on. Doesn't Sasuke have a bandage?
Don't both of them have a bandage? What is this?
Like, hold on.
I'm confused now.
Something's confusing us right now. I guess
I
many
think when
Spanish is
Kishimoto drew that was more of just like to show even more his hit landed. But yeah, no, his whole arm was covered in bandages.
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe there's just like a coloring
So
mistake.
never
I
mind
don't
that
know what's
argument.
happening here.
Because we were both thinking, I was thinking the opposite because I was like, Sasuke has bandages on, so Lee must be ahead. And I was take it even further. I was gonna say Lee's the one making contact right now.
Yeah, he doesn't take off his bandages until what's it called? He was prepping to do Chidori. Like he goes up on the wall and then Gaara just lets him fucking charge up a battery of electricity. Like, yeah, sure, nothing can go wrong.
An even stupider argument is this is arguing the character has frog kumite.
You're right, that would be stupid.
Oh, we're not gonna do that.
You could argue he has Dosu Sound Drill too.
Okay. But okay, Jay, did you find the thing that you're looking for?
All right, so Jay, we're gonna let you pick, I guess, because we're the ones that forcing you into things. We can either get into a Chidori focus thing now, or we can do what we were doing, but just kind of like establishing like so we were doing like base taijutsu to taijutsu, and then we would eventually come back to Chidori later. But I'll let you pick the order.
Let's see.
I mean, Kamui, I do like the idea of just going down the list, and we're all surprised of what the order of the debates
I mean,
is.
that's fair, because like, the list is not in any particular order. You know what, screw it, that's the funniest way. I'm down.
Okay, if Jay is willing to do that, we'll do it.
Also, I'm going to say right now, Jay, if at any point you got to go, we're not, I don't know that we're going to finish this tonight, or without being like...
Well, Kamui, let me just cut you off there. We're not going to finish this tonight.
Yeah, so we have too many things, because it's been delayed so long, the list has only grown. So if we need to do a part 2, by all means, we're willing, as long as you are.
Yeah,
I would say either do that, or just, like, simplify it, I guess, more, make it more concise.
Well, the problem is, the real problem is, I think we could definitely do a full stream of us just presenting points, but Jay's obviously gonna counter them with whatever he comes up with, which then we're gonna want to counter back. I mean, we could just ignore his counters and then just move on to the next thing. But somewhere along the line, something's getting missed unless we do a part 2.
Yeah, I think because I think we're kind of circular. It would just come down to who others think has the greater, stronger premise. And I'm okay with that.
Yeah, if you guys want to leave it like that, like let everyone judge based upon what we have discussed so far.
Well, we haven't even got anywhere close to the points we wanted to bring up most of all, so we can't now.
Well, just to make it clear, we've gone through one of the points from the thing that we written down.
Well, I could say this for equity purposes, like if you guys, I'm not saying you're ending it now, but let's say if you did now, and then like everybody can give their thoughts, whatever, blah blah. And then when you guys eventually continue it and you do include everything, all the arguments or whatever, then people can judge that as a whole overall, and then to see if maybe that changes anything. But it's up to you guys.
For now, obviously, we don't have to decide anything right now.
I'll say this for me at least. I'm fine with whatever. My only caveat is whether I have to lose the ability to counter Jay's counters or we have to do a part 2 or whatever. I just want to present all of our arguments.
The point of this wasn't about the part 2. It was just to say that we'll probably be here for a while. So if you got to go at any point, that's fine.
Another thing too, unless Jay agrees, you guys could always just end this as an official debate. If you don't want to do that, you don't have to, but you could. And then for like maybe discussions, whether if it's your podcast or his, whatever, then you can bring all these points into it and he could still combat, but it's just not an official, you know what I mean, like debate or whatever.
I mean, to be fair, from the beginning, it was a quote-unquote official debate. It's an official debate in name for the sake of the YouTube title, but like, that's not to say we're not taking it seriously, but like, I'm
not saying it's not official. I mean, like, to end it as an official as of now, and if you guys want to continue with all those other points, whatever, Jay can still treat it as a debate, but it would just be more of like a pseudo debate, discussions, not really an official, And if you still want to do chance, whatever you could, but again, that's your guys' call, however you want to do about it.
So I realize that we're silly people. The problem is we want our best for last ones to be the official.
Okay, yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah,
I mean, do you have any
yeah,
preferences
you can
based on what you've heard so far?
yeah, I could say we could move past the who has the greater taijutsu. I think I've established that
Yeah.
enough. We can get to the Chidori or whatever else you guys think.
Okay. Okay, so we'll move
reinforces
on
that Lee beats
to
Sasuke.
this next thing here.
Yeah, this one is.
So again, it's on my screen if you guys want to follow along, assuming you guys weren't looking at it. But Lee consistently fights while unconscious, stronger than he does consciously. Before getting to the elaboration, thoughts? Do we agree, disagree, or do we need an elaboration?
It has to be specific. Intoxicated. Yeah.
No. For us, we're saying unconscious in general. Intoxicated.
Oh no, I disagree with that.
Ooh, okay, let's get into it. So, Jay, are you aware that Lee could barely crawl away from Gaara at the end of the Lee versus Gaara fight when the prelims, when conscious after Hidden Lotus? Then Gaara destroyed his arm and leg, so he's more damaged and less able to crawl away. And while unconscious, Lee was able to stand up and get into a fighting pose, something he couldn't do moments earlier when conscious.
I don't think he was literally unconscious. I think he was nearly physically.
He was stated to be unconscious.
Is what Guy says. And Kakashi. In fact, I'll quote Kakashi because I remember it. I remember it word for word. Kakashi says he's out cold. Doesn't get more clear.
Let me see. I need to see the exact.
And then a guy's crying, saying, "Even while unconscious, you're still trying to prove your ninja way," or something extremely close to that.
Where is this at? Oh, yeah, I found it. Let me see.
You can even see like Lee's pupils are like grayed out or whatever to like indicate it as well.
Yeah, that's the artistic depiction of it. It's the way his eyes are drawn. Also, the face he's making.
Yeah.
What chapter is that?
And also he has like zero reaction to being hugged or anything anyone says.
Yeah,
And then he's not like screaming in pain anymore.
This is kind of that visual depiction. They do the grayed out eyes thing.
This was the end of the fight, I think.
Yeah.
Let's see quick. Oh, okay, so here.
Yeah, so both Guy and Kakashi say it, at least in the anime. I don't know if they both say it in the manga, but I'll assume so for now.
No, they don't. They don't say it in the manga.
Do neither of them say it? Surely someone says it.
I mean, it is definitely... The unconscious eyes thing is definitely there.
Not really.
But also,
he's like
you also
exhausted.
just see him unconscious, like on the ground.
Well, what do they say? Because obviously this is like huge for like narrative Lee stuff, so they got to say something.
He just said
senseless.
He said he opened 5 gates. His arm and leg are crushed. How can he still stand? Still stand. Yeah. So there's no indication that he's unconscious. He seems very fatigued.
Again, I sent you a panel of him lying on the ground, eyes closed, unconscious. That comes before Kakashi's statement. And then Guy says, in the Viz here, he says, even though you've been knocked senseless. In the anime, they say unconscious. But like we see Lee unconscious before both of those statements.
So yeah.
And also, like, I mean, if you want another image, here's like Guy standing in front of Lee's knocked out body.
That's crazy.
When he gets it, here's another one of him on the ground. Like he's just consistently drawn this way.
Also, he wouldn't be speaking to him if he was unconscious. He said, "Lee, it's all right. It's over. You're in no shape to be standing."
Well, okay, Tsunade was speaking to dying Naruto in a dead Dawn, so I don't think that's necessarily fair.
A dying Naruto, so he's still alive?
Well, he's like unconscious but dying. He regains consciousness. Like he wasn't even breathing. His heart stopped. Everything was stopped.
Well, he wasn't standing.
Yeah, like
so it's a false dichotomy.
Okay, I see what you're saying, but okay, real quick. Okay, because again, this doesn't mean that we're gonna use it against you, but outside of the debate, so the debate's been paused. You agree Lee is unconscious, right?
No, I don't. I don't agree.
In real life?
No, in real life, I don't agree he's unconscious.
So do you
At
think
least.
the anime messed up?
I don't think it messed up. I just think it decided to go in
Well,
its
they
own
say he's
direction.
unconscious
Or
in the end.
yeah, or they could just be wrong and kind of they're trying to exaggerate what's taking place to illuminate his willpower. Like he's near unconsciousness for sure. His body's so exhausted that he's barely able to stand. He's dripping blood. That's more so a tribute to his willpower rather than being literally unconscious.
So I'm kind of curious now. I'm gonna see if the data book has a statement about this very situation or not.
I mean,
don't know if it
obviously they
will.
could say something different in the Japanese, but we'll not do that. So, out of curiosity, Jay, why do you think they drew Lee's eyes like this in the manga? And
Because
whole
he's near
face, yeah.
he's near to the point
Near
of complete
unconscious.
exhaustion.
Okay.
His eyes are glazed over.
Well, they
and
don't do
he's
that for
so
anyone
fatigued.
else in that state.
I mean, I'll have to look through the entire manga to see
Yeah, I
if
was
that's
gonna say the
actually
same
the case,
thing.
but yeah, I'm not gonna do that.
Yeah, I can't say that for sure. I can't remember anything off the top of my head,
That's
obviously, but
interesting.
that doesn't mean it doesn't exist.
They don't seem to address this.
I will
and,
say it's weird, kind of, for Lee to not have like any reaction to anyone saying anything, or like Lee losing the match, etc., etc. If he's conscious, you could argue that just plays into what Guy says, that it's okay to accept it, etc., etc.
Well,
I think he's
Lee
just too
also
tired to
doesn't
react.
hug a guy back. Lee
He's
in
too tired to do
character
any of it.
would hug him back.
Lee in character with enough energy would, but he's so exhausted that he could barely just stand. It's
I
all he
mean,
could
okay, but Jay, that's also a little ridiculous. He has the energy to stand, but not to hug a guy back.
do. Hug
He needs the
would
energy to put
require
his
him to
arm in
apply.
the air.
I mean, barely.
That's
Is
all he
it?
needs, to just keep it there and have it be around Guy.
His other arm is bleeding, and his right hand he's trying to put it up to signify that he's still wanting to combat Gaara,
Well,
but
yeah,
he's barely
so
able to stand.
his hand is able to be raised. He can do that. So,
But this was after he probably realized that it's over. So he was like,
Well,
I
no.
don't need to put in much more effort. It's fine if he just hugs me. I think that's not really relevant. Doesn't negate that he's almost passing out. He even leans on. He lets himself lean on Guy.
No,
because
Guy
he's just
hugs him and
exhausted.
reels him in. He's not conscious. That's the point.
No, he's conscious. He's definitely conscious.
I mean,
Well, okay, now you're saying he's definitely conscious.
Well,
Where are we getting
you
that?
could
from?
The fact that he's speaking to him, it's all right, it's over. Or no shit. Why would he be speaking to a
Lee,
non-conscious Lee?
not Guy. Well, no, but
Yeah.
again, but the fact that Guy's speaking to him doesn't make him definitely conscious. If Tsunade's speaking to a clearly dead Don, among other
Those are false
situations.
dichotomies, though. Those aren't equivalent. We can't compare those.
But your argument is that he's speaking to him.
so I
To
will.
a standing Lee, yeah.
A standing Lee who he believes to be unconscious.
I will
He never
add.
states that in the manga.
Also, he says a lot of this into his. Actually, hold on. How about this? Guy starts by talking to Lee out loud, then he realizes he's unconscious, and the dialogue shifts to internal thought dialogue, and you can tell because of the dialogue type, it's not the speech bubbles. So Guy stops speaking out loud once he realizes he's unconscious.
I mean, he says, Lee, you're already a splendid ninja. He says that out loud with the bubbles. The text bubbles.
Well, he says... Wait, no, he doesn't. These are... I'll send you the next bunch. These are not out loud bubbles.
I mean, I will say, Kamui, he does say this out loud in the anime, but it's fine.
Well, did we see his lips move?
Kamui, he says it out loud in the anime. Let's not be ridiculous.
Well, but they say internal thoughts out loud from our perspective in the anime. So does he move his lips and say?
I'm pretty sure that's how I remember the scene being done. Yes.
Okay, but either way, in the manga here, these are not out loud speech bubbles. And the moment he switches to these is when he realizes he's unconscious.
There's no indication he's unconscious to me. The very fact he's standing. He's near unconsciousness. Given that.
But what I will say...
Wait, you see there's no indication when you have the dialogue, that the shift from out loud to internal thoughts, the things Guy's saying, the way Lee's drawn, there's definitely indications.
But yeah, I do
think... I don't believe so.
I do think when Guy realizes is important because he realizes when he looks at Lee's like expression rather than when Lee stands up or whatever. Like that's what makes him
seeing
cry.
Lee stand made him assume he was conscious, but then when he sees Lee's face, that's when Guy has a change.
Because like what would the like exclamation mark and like surprised things be in reference to for Guy? Because he already knows that Lee's doing everything else.
Him being shocked by the fact that he's been pushed to this extent. I mean, and that he's barely conscious. That could also shock him too.
I mean, he knows that Lee was pushed to this extent, but he was all right there.
But he's standing after.
It also would take away, like, narratively, this would take away from the point a bit. Like, it's more impactful if Lee is unconscious to the whole scene and what Guy's saying.
And we know that's not technically an argument, but you know.
Well, you don't think if you think it's like a 9 out of 10 versus a 10 out of 10, you don't think it's an increase? Like, it's a greater, like, the point's drilled even harder. Even if you think it's drilled hard enough, it would still be drilled harder.
Him being near death is enough, which he is.
But that's separate from what I'm saying, though. Something can be enough. Like, for example, if I want to break my local bench press record for my age group, 350 might be enough, but 400 is more of the record. It's broken.
I think we're splitting hairs for the sake of being correct. I think empirically and via induction, when someone stands up, they're more than likely awake on a bounce of probabilities. That's the point.
Well, this is Naruto, not real life, so we can't.
And Naruto as well. If you could find multiple instances of people unconscious fighting, then sure.
Well, actually, no, hold on. We have instances of unconscious people standing, like Naruto doing the Rasengan to Yamato in the middle of his dreams.
And they talk to Naruto when he's sleeping there too. Clearly unconscious.
When was that?
It's in Shippuden.
I don't remember the specific episode.
He does a Rasengan to Yamato while sleeping, is what you said?
Yes, Yamato stays up all night because of it.
I don't remember that.
He's in a wood dome protecting himself from Naruto.
And again, those are false dichotomies as well. This is not after being pushed to near death. I think that's what's being emphasized, not that he's unconscious.
Yeah, but that's not the arc. Like, but you were emphasizing like standing up, them talking to him. So these have been addressed through these. Except episode 55. Just go to that.
But that's a false dichotomy. It's not the same situation.
Might be chapter 315. You want to look there, Governor? But why do you think it's not the same, Jay?
Because he's sleeping. Well, he's sleeping. His body's fully capable. It's not the body isn't near the point of exhaustion or near the point of death. It's not the same thing.
Well, I don't think that matters because for first of all, exhaustion, he's asleep because he's tired, and near death, that just upscales Lee on the converse. Is that Lee, despite being near death? Well, first of all, you can't prove he's near death. But second of all,
I mean, you can. The very battle he's in, the very fact that guy had to save his life implies he's near death.
But that's not because of the damage.
Movement.
That's because of the damage Gaara was about to do. Not because of
the damage he's already done. Why wouldn't he jump in right away if that was the case? It is putting him near death because why wouldn't he jump in immediately? If the damage that he already sustained is negligible, then why would they let him fight in the first place? That's contradictory to the whole point.
Damage being negligible isn't the same as damage being near death damage. Because, for example, if I break my tibia, I break my leg, that's not negligible damage, but that doesn't put me near death.
I do think based on this,
it's not lethal damage.
He's splitting hairs again because he didn't come into the fray until it was observably shown that what was going to happen next was more than likely going to cause him to die.
Because Lee was unconscious on the ground and couldn't dodge Gaara's next attack that was meant to not sink off in just his arm, but his whole body, and Guy understood that and intervened. So that doesn't mean Lee's damage put him near death.
We could say that doesn't mean necessarily, but
a difference for this argument.
My logical explanation proves that my interpretation is more probable than yours. You're splitting hairs for the sake of being correct, but I'm including empirical evidence.
Yours necessitates that Lee being near death is the difference, but he's not near death from the damage, which means we can remove that from the equation. It's not relevant.
No, that's what you're concluding. I don't agree to that.
Okay, but I don't agree to what you said.
Okay, but I have empirical backing to establish that he most likely
I do
is.
too.
That's the key.
Lee's not gonna die.
No, you don't.
From the sand
No, you
coffin
don't.
with his leg and arm.
So okay,
You don't have empirical
so
backing for that.
so I do think based on the
You're saying you do,
arguments
but you
here,
don't.
based on the arguments
speculating.
here, I do think that if Lee already has life-threatening injuries, then I think that if Guy's gonna jump in, he would jump in before the life-threatening injuries happen rather than after. It would be weird for Guy to jump
Or he
in
would
after
jump in
knowing.
immediately after, before the next attack can start. Like Gaara started the next attack, and that's what Guy jumps in.
Well, Kamui, that's what Jay's arguing.
Yeah.
Well, that the win. No, that's not the same thing. That's what I'm saying. So
I
in this
don't
case,
understand.
what I'm saying there is
You're
that
splitting hairs.
Gaara does the small sand coffin, the arm and leg sand coffin. Guy doesn't immediately jump down, bring him to the hospital. It's only after Gaara then starts the second attack, and Guy's responding to the fact that there's a second attack coming. That's what he's defending.
Well, no, Kamui.
Here's their death.
So the idea is that yes, he's saving Lee's life by
Exactly.
stopping it. What Jay is saying, which isn't what I was saying, is the idea of whether the first attack is threatening Lee's life. So if Gaara never does that second attack, it's Lee's life.
I don't think you're understanding what I'm saying.
No, I understand, but for the idea
It
here,
doesn't feel like you do, based on what you're saying.
okay, for the idea here, it's weird if Guy knows the first attack is life-threatening and he allows it to happen, but not the second, which would support your side, Kamui.
I know, I agree. I was adding something in addition to that,
Okay.
which I don't feel like you understood. But
Whatever. Think I understood. Anyways. I do wanna
I
add,
think you guys you talked a good amount on that point.
I did have one
unless
more
you guys have
thing.
anything new
If you don't let,
for
yeah, I
it?
do have something new for that.
No.
Just one more thing. It won't take long. So I understand that other characters aren't Lee, so obviously you could just argue the difference in characterization. But I do think from like Kishimoto's perspective of writing characters in this universe, we do see other characters on the verge of being passed out or dying or whatever, and we see they are just able to move or speak, etc. Like we see Naruto as his heart's like stopping, he's like, oh, I won the bet, Tsunade, as he grabs a necklace. Dawn is like talking, or as he dies. Same with Madara, he's talking literally as he's dying. So I think there's a lot of examples of characters on the verge of unconsciousness who are able to speak, unlike Lee, who isn't here. So that would be a weird inconsistency for like the universe.
I mean, he doesn't need to speak to prove that he's on the verge of unconsciousness. The very, again, observable evidence we have shows that he's near it. More than likely. And it's very logical to conclude that's the most probable
Well, you don't think that
conclusion based off the ass whooping he took.
you don't think that Lee would say something if he could here?
I mean, I think that's irrelevant. I think it's a red herring to the fact that he's near unconsciousness.
Oh, I think
no,
it
it's
is.
not, because
Yeah, go ahead, Colin.
okay, go ahead.
I was gonna say, basically just reiterating what I just said. If Lee could talk here, then I think he would. And because he's not, to me, that indicates that he would be unconscious. Because if he was conscious, he would talk.
That's your opinion, though. It's not factual, and that's all I need.
Yeah, I agree. I understand that. But Kamui, what were you gonna say?
Yeah.
A similar idea,
Okay.
so that's fine.
Okay. Anyways, we've like barely gotten into the real meat of the unconsciousness here. So, okay. So, beyond the first instance, there's more instances. And Jay, you did allude to it, but we'll just continue on here. But Sasuke can't get a sneak attack on Lee. Lee will always see it coming. Lee was consistently dodging Kimimara's attack with his eyes closed. He will still be able to dodge no matter where Sasuke attacks.
Is that when he was intoxicated?
I think, yeah, when he has his eyes closed, yeah.
Okay, that's a false dichotomy. Then that's a whole different Lee.
Well, do you think
That's
he's
not
getting like
applicable to this
sensory
debate.
abilities when his eyes are closed?
I think it's irrelevant either way because it's not the Lee in discussion. This is an intoxicated Lee.
Well, it would matter
talking
though,
about
because if you would have to necessitate that you think the alcohol gives him sensory. Otherwise, Lee just has that.
Again, it doesn't matter whether it does or not because that's a different version of Lee. So I don't need to even engage with that. We're talking about tuning exam,
if
preliminary
he does
Lee.
have it, then he has it, and this can be used.
Again, this is not irrelevant. I don't need to engage with that because that's not the Lee we're discussing.
I do think different version would apply to different like times, like Sasuke retrieval Lee, as opposed to forms such as drunk versus not drunk.
No, he's not saying, he's not even speaking on retrieval. He's just saying that drunken Lee is completely different from normal Lee.
No, I understand that. And I was saying that I disagree that should be, I guess, the argument here.
Gotcha.
Yeah, because I
want to throw something in here real quick.
Place, I would have made the same argument.
Also, I want to throw something in here real quick. This can't be used in nothing regardless of the debate or whatever. But also, by definition, unconscious, and just saying like science-wise, whatever, blah, blah. When you're drunk, you're not unconscious. You're still conscious. So that kind of contradicts and goes through.
Yeah, I was
just saying that's just me. I'm just putting that out there.
The
Jay can't use that because I said it, whatever, blah, blah. But I'm just saying, like, that's not a thing. Like, literally by science, it's literally impossible for you to move or do anything.
Well, actually, Lee does fall asleep in the drunk Kimmy Bar.
Yeah, no, I just
and that's when he does a lot of his dodging eyes closed.
Well, I will say the argument here isn't.
I'm not even going to engage with that.
The argument. No, I know you don't have to engage with it, but I will say the argument here isn't necessarily conscious versus unconscious. It's because, again, regardless if he's conscious or he's unconscious, his eyes are closed. So even if he's conscious, his eyes are still closed and he's still dodging.
It's like me bringing up curse mark Sasuke. Like, he has the curse mark during the final. That'd be disingenuous for me to use that version of him just because he's capable of using it in this specific version.
So the reason why we're saying this is that, let's just say you're talking about a Sage Mode Naruto type. So obviously Sage Mode Naruto has sensory. We know this, and you know he doesn't in base. But if we were going to talk about a feat with Sage Mode Naruto, and let's say we didn't know the sensory came from Sage Mode, you would have to necessitate that Sage Mode is doing the amp. Like, you have to agree that it's giving him the sensory amp, because if it's not, that would mean base Naruto had that amp. It's what we're saying. So if you're, again, it doesn't matter if it's a different lead, because if the alcohol isn't providing the sensory, that means base Lee has that sensory, which means he can use it without the alcohol, unless the alcohol is giving him the sensory. That's what we're saying.
I think more than likely, based off his performance and the lore of it, it more than likely is giving him the sensory.
Well, can you prove that?
Well, I don't think he has to. I think lore just agree.
I know.
Yeah, okay. Here, we'll go
into the high probability of it.
Yeah, we'll go into the next one here. Lee will be able to tell what Sasuke is doing extremely quickly, aka Lee has precog. Thoughts?
What substantiates that he has precog?
Well, what substantiates it?
To clarify, he's making a comparison to precog. He's not saying he has literal precog, but he is saying that Lee will be able to read. Similarly to what Kimimaro does with Lee, where he can read Lee's movements really well without having actual precog, Lee will be able to read Sasuke's movements extremely well, like the back of his hand, is what he's really saying.
Kamui, if you want to... Yeah, Kamui, if you want to read the substantiation here.
I guess, yeah, we'll just it doesn't matter who wrote the thing, we'll just alternate who says it.
Sure.
The reason why is because Sasuke is copying Lee's movements to use the speed in taijutsu. So Lee, who obviously knows his own taijutsu like the back of his hand, is going to be able to read his own movements very well and be able to react to them better. And I'm going to add this in that Oodie didn't write. Sasuke, on the other hand, while he's copied a lot of Lee's taijutsu, from what we've seen, he has not copied all of that taijutsu. Like, for example, Sasuke at no point is stated in the data book or ever shown or ever implied or anything remotely about that nature to have the Leaf Hurricane, which means Sasuke wouldn't have this advantage on many of Lee's techniques, whereas Lee has it for all of Sasuke's. because Lee's a master of his own taijutsu that he's honed and has even more experience with it than Sasuke.
Well, I'll
which gives
just
Lee an
add
advantage
the
with battling Sasuke in
caveat.
taijutsu.
In terms of all of Sasuke's, this is in terms of Lee's moves, because obviously Sasuke has his
in
own
terms of all
moves
of
outside of
Sasuke's
Lee.
lead movement.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Just wanted to have that caveat.
Yeah, make that clear.
Then he would just switch to a different set of taijutsu. His own, more than
But
likely.
his Lee's speed comes from copying Lee's taijutsu.
Which is ridiculous.
It doesn't come from it. Allows him to more efficiently copy Lee's moves, but the speed doesn't come from copying Lee's moves. He just happens to do so against Gaara.
It did come from it.
No, it didn't. He just got fast enough to copy the rate of speed at which Lee's taijutsu movements are utilized, and happen to use the same style of movement as well. But he doesn't need to use his style of movement to use that level of speed.
I want to clarify. I'm going to try my best to walk a fine line with how I say this. But Sasuke's Lee's speed did come from copying Lee's taijutsu.
Why is that?
It's stated by Kakashi.
So I do want to, okay, before we go further with this, because I think this is just going to go into a whole rabbit hole of nonsense, I do want to go back to something I was saying earlier, because we probably should have just decided for the debate our interpretation of the scene then when I was mentioning it. But what's stated is that how Kakashi's training Sasuke is he's telling Sasuke to use his copy Sharingan Eye to copy his imagination of Lee fighting. So how do we interpret that scene? Is that what he's doing, or is Kakashi showing Sasuke what Kakashi saw Lee do when Kakashi used the Sharingan to watch Lee versus Gaara? And Sasuke's copying that with the Sharingan.
It's most logical to conclude that he's doing what's explicitly stated, because then we have to speculate what's being said, or what he means by it when he says that.
Okay, so regardless of
his imagination.
I should have posted here. Just look at this last one because this will have guys' question, and then
So obviously, I'm sure we all agree it's ridiculous. But are we saying, for the sake of this debate, that do we think that it is Sasuke copying his imagination of Lee?
Well, I mean, he says I just had him visualize Lee's movements.
No, I understand that's what he's saying, but obviously that's ridiculous. That's not to say it isn't the case, but I'm saying for this,
I can make it kind of make sense, but
I'm saying for the sake of this debate, not just so that we're all on the same page before we even move forward. What is the interpretation that we're going to go with for the sake of this debate? Because I'm technically fine with any of them. It's just this is ridiculous, which doesn't mean it didn't happen.
This doesn't prove that he got it. This doesn't prove that the condition to reach Lee's speed was to learn Lee's movements.
Well, guys asking him, how did he get him to do this? And this is Kakashi's answer. How did he get
he's saying this is the way he... Yeah, he's saying what exactly did you do to get him to that level of speed? But Kakashi never stated this was the only way to get him to Lee's level of speed. That just happens to be the way in which he trained him to increase his speed.
But he says, I just had to visualize Lee's movements. In fact, if we're going to take it literally, all
that doesn't mean that's the only way, though.
Visualize Lee's movements and nothing more.
That doesn't mean that's the only way. That just happens to be the way in which he did it.
Exactly. All Sasuke did was visualize Lee's movements. That's all he did.
And in fact, he's faster with Chidori anyway, which is why he used it, and not Lee's movements anymore. So that's not the only way to get faster. That's the way in which he got faster, was via copying Lee's movements. But it's not the only way. That's a disingenuous claim.
Oodie.
He has a faster move than Lee's movements anyway. So.
Yeah.
I'm texting you this, Oodie.
I'm gonna guess it's the Chidori thing. We'll wait.
Because we knew that it was gonna be one of the bigger things.
I knew you were gonna be itching to talk about it. I don't even think we need to really talk about that for right now, anyways, or really this whole thing, anyways. Okay. We might not ever talk about it. We'll come back to it later, maybe. We'll see.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyways, okay, so just for clarification, so we're all going to agree and be on the same page for the sake of this debate for now, that the way that Sasuke is getting to Lee's speed is by visualizing Lee. That's what Kakashi's doing for the training.
Yeah, but Jay's saying
Yeah,
that it can be
specifically.
more than just that, though. Like that is part of it,
Yeah.
but it's not necessarily just that.
Okay.
That's what Jay
Well,
was
then
Yeah,
wouldn't be
the
answering
the
Guy's
specific
question.
thing. The specific thing I'm agreeing to is that the way in which he gained the speed was through copying Lee's movements, but that's not the only way that could have been achieved. That's what I'm saying.
Well, but I think it's
Why does it
important.
matter what could have been done?
Well, no. I think Kamui, it's
Because
important.
your argument is that you're basically implying that the only move Sasuke would use against Lee is Lee's own movements. But first of
No.
all, Sasuke is much more intelligent than that. He would
Well, that's not what
change
I
his
said.
style. Well, that's what's
So,
being
again-
implied. Why would it matter then?
Well, again, I told you
What's the
I
point of
was
bringing that up
specifically
in the first place?
walking a fine line with how I worded it. But I said that, so what I say word for word, Sasuke did use the copying Lee's movements to get to this speed, is what I said. That he did that. And you contested it, and I showed you that he did.
Well, this is why establishing this interpretation is important, because a lot of these upcoming arguments are going to spin off of this interpretation. So having an agreed upon interpretation, I think, is the best way to move forward. I do think we do need to agree with some kind of interpretation here before we get to the things that we will disagree with on later arguments for this part.
Yeah, I'll agree. That's how he did it, but that's not the only way that it could have been done.
Yeah,
he has other ways.
And obviously, I'm not saying that you have to provide other ways, but like, and it's not like necessary, but like, Jay, if you were to like guess of a way or a headcanon, how do you think Sasuke is doing it in addition to that? Like, do you think that Kakashi is showing him through Kakashi copying Lee's movements and then Sasuke copying Kakashi's movements? Because that's my interpretation.
But I think it's possible. But I think the Sharingan provides a lot of utilization to copy movement. It provides, like when Kakashi is able to copy, known for being the thousand jutsu ninja because of being able to copy other opponents. Sasuke should be able to replicate something similar, having seen some of Lee's movements from when he battled him early in the Chunin exams.
Exactly. So that's why this is important, because that's what Kamui was saying earlier. So to do the Lion's Barrage, Sasuke copied the first half of Lee's Lotus that he did against him, because Lee didn't finish that Lotus the first time. Sasuke didn't know what the end of the move was, so he just made it a Sasuke original. He just did his own thing because he doesn't know what Lee does after that point. He only copied what he saw. So obviously it doesn't make sense for Lee or for Sasuke to copy Lee when Lee's fighting Gaara, because Sasuke's not there. Sasuke fights before Lee and then Sasuke Lee, so he doesn't see the Lee vs. Gaara fight. So to visualize Lee and then to copy Lee's movements, it would have to be the first instance of Lee.
That one move.
Exactly, and that's really all he copied there. But then versus Gaara, we see that clearly what Sasuke is doing against Gaara is the same moves that Lee is doing against Gaara, which Sasuke copied with the Sharingan, but Sasuke wasn't there to see it. So I think the only way to interpret this would be, because Kakashi had a Sharingan out, he copied Lee's movements, and then Kakashi showed Kakashi showed Sasuke those movements, and then Sasuke copied those with the Sharingan.
And that's obviously ignoring the just Kishimoto art aesthetic of wanting to draw them in the same way and all that, and that's not necessarily has to be perfect one-to-one in universe.
And again, what I said is completely headcanon. That's not what Kakashi says here. But for the sake of this debate, would we all agree that's a likely interpretation at the very least?
It's a possible interpretation. I don't know about likely, but it's possible.
Okay. I'll just take that as good enough. So, okay.
Yeah.
So, moving forward to the argument here, and comment wherever you want to continue on.
We read that.
You read part of it. You read
consistent. We already read that, yeah.
It's like, I think it's from here you would read. Or did you?
Do you want me to read it again?
Oh no, I think it's like from here you didn't read, but you like implied stuff.
I read it all.
You read the whole thing?
I'll read it again, because Lee is a master of his own taijutsu that he's owned. He has more experience with it than Sasuke, giving Lee an advantage when battling Sasuke. Example: this is consistent as shown when Lee reacted to Sasuke using his move before Guy did.
Okay, this is stupid.
Yeah. So, yeah. Lee reacted to it before Guy did.
What's that being substantiated with the manga?
That's showing that Lee's ability to like observe, interpret, understand, analyze, whatever word you want to pick, his own taijutsu is greater than that of even Guy.
I just want to preface,
Lee reacted first.
this is a ridiculous example. Don't hold this against the actual argument.
Yeah, is that because in the manga he's shown reacting to it first? Is that the basis for that?
Well, in the anime, it's
Or
the
what's the
same.
basis? I mean, it just the
chronological order.
perspective just happened to have shifted on him first, but God doesn't necessarily mean that Lee is superior in that specific type of taijutsu, or faster than has like faster neurological processing speed than Lee, and then Guy, just because we see him talk about it first. It's kind of illogical.
Well, we're not saying that he has that over Guy. We're just saying that he reacted to specifically his own taijutsu faster than Guy.
I mean, Kamui, what makes this example more egregious, outrageous, I'll add.
It's well, I'm gonna see if you're gonna say what I was gonna say.
That Guy taught Lee
guys,
this move. This is
so
Guy's
quick.
move.
It's like it's Guy's taijutsu that Lee is using.
Hey, real quick.
Yeah, exactly.
Are you live right now or no?
We should be. Are we not?
I'll double check.
Okay,
Yeah.
both of you and Jay, mute your mic so the audio doesn't come through in your stream real quick.
Okay, let me do that really quick. Okay. Yeah, I muted at least y'all, but they can still, I'll just mute me. That's the
Are you
moderation
fired?
I
That's
appreciate.
He's like, hey.
Those are vibes
I
right
got
there.
Jeez,
That's vibes.
Bob.
I love to see it.
Fire album.
Yeah. Okay. But getting
Well,
back
make sure
to
you unmute
it.
stream if you didn't already.
No, I think I just double checked.
Yeah. Don't
Yeah,
forget
okay,
if you
okay.
gotta
That
would have been a real unfortunate.
Oh shit.
Yeah, anyway, so it's a ridiculous, obviously throwaway example. Don't actually take it seriously, but like it's consistent with what we just said.
You would have tell it. Yeah, if I in some other reality agreed to that, I would make it consistent. Yeah.
Yeah. So ignoring the
Well,
example.
It's some reality you are agreeing to it.
Oh my god.
In a alternate converse reality, yeah.
But ignoring the example, the
not
point
lamb.
here is that if Sasuke does use Lee's taijutsu, Lee is familiar with that taijutsu. In fact, you could argue more familiar than Sasuke. So Lee has an advantage there over Sasuke using his own moves if he uses Lee's moves in comparison.
Yeah, that's presupposing that he would deduce that's the best course of action if he were to battle Lee, which he wouldn't certainly not deduce that.
No, I
That would be
completely agree.
illogical.
Yeah, I
Since
completely
he's-
agree. That's assuming, yeah, it would be an if he does that.
Yeah.
Okay. Just to make that clear, yeah. Okay. So, okay, Jay, we have a question for you.
Yeah.
So, Jay, what is Sasuke's counter to Lee dropping his weights on Sasuke at close range?
I would say Sharingan, which I don't think in the manga he even uses, even with Chidori. Sharingan.
No, he does.
And
If you mean
Chidori.
versus Gaara, he does use Sharingan with Chidori.
Does he? Because I don't see his eyes.
Well, I mean, that was kind of the point. Is that it's made into a very pivotal point.
Well,
that
I mean,
Sasuke
okay,
has the
hilariously,
Sharingan, which
Hilariously, to be fair, Kamui, this is the one instance in the entire franchise where the Sharingan is not needed for the Chidori.
Okay,
Yeah, he's not using it
no,
there.
It was for the spikes.
No,
That's
I
what
know.
he-
I was gonna add that afterwards. It's just a funny thing to just want to say.
But I mean, yeah.
Because
that is
here he's
funny.
not.
No, it's made into a point that he was using the Sharingan there.
Yeah.
I don't
That's
see
why
it.
Sasuke can use that type of assault.
Because he's like activating it and he's looking up and his eyes are still regular.
Huh. I'll
Then
just
he
go
speeds
to
into
it
his
real quick, but he
So-
absolutely uses a Sharingan during it.
So I'm sure you know this
And
statement
then
of
even after he strikes him, his eyes are still. I don't see Sharingans.
if you remember,
So-
Lee has this statement of something or the other along the lines of he's jealous of Sasuke because Lee cannot do a straight beeline attack where Sasuke can because he can counterattack with the Chidori. Or
He turns
with
it
the
on
Sharingan.
after he strikes him. I see it right
that
here.
doesn't make any sense. That wouldn't make any sense. He turned it on when he's already hit him and Gaara's not counterattacking.
I mean, you
That's just an
can see his
error
eyes.
that's not there.
I mean, that's your opinion, but his eyes are still regular. And
Well,
then later, when he's speaking to him, he turns them on. Yeah.
Then why
Maybe
did
that-
Kishimoto write this? What I'm about to send you.
Let's see it. Don't have the
Maybe that's
eye
how
to
you counter
perceive
them.
and see through that counter.
And see through that
And
counter.
we know what the Sharingan does in reference to this.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
We couldn't have.
Oh,
And he also mentions like Sasuke's genes and stuff, and in reference to like the Sharingan.
Now, I'm going to wait for Jay, but I will say I do have an interpretation for this.
I think the point of this
Sorry, Kamui.
is that my point is his speed was still capable of surpassing Lee's without the Sharingan because he doesn't activate the Sharingan, at least observably, until he's right at the dome where the dome is trying to counter him. That seems like he's turning it on to avoid any strikes from the dome or like the dome's little like arms coming out. And that's when he turns it on. It's not much more for basically what I'm saying is that he can reach levels of speed beyond Lee without the Sharingan via the Chidori. If he were to turn on the Sharingan, his speed would, at least his neurological processing speed would increase, which would help aid him against Lee.
So remind me, does Sasuke have the Sharingan on before this point, like when he's doing taijutsu against Gaara? Like, does he have it on at any point?
I don't see it at all until that
I
point.
don't
Let me
know. He
look
might
again,
have
though.
in the anime at least. He might turn it on and off. I don't remember. Off the top of
I
my
mean,
head.
this
For
is just
integrity purposes, he never has it on when doing taijutsu. He didn't need to because he's faster. When he does
Interesting.
the whole Shidori, then yeah.
that's
And keep
interesting.
in mind, this is when it said. He said this is when it said again in base without Sharingan. He's the same. He's practically the same speed as Lee without weights.
Well,
Without
we're
the
gonna come
Sharingan.
back to that one hopefully fairly soon. If not, we'll skip to it. But I'll let you say that for the moment.
Well, I think that's interesting because, again, that's like a unrelated point, but that also means the Sharingan Eye to copy applies when you have the Sharingan deactivated as well. You can still do the copy jutsu when it's not activated.
Yeah, once you've copied it and
It's
remember it, you
Yeah.
don't need to reactivate it to do it.
Yeah, that's
again.
interesting. So I guess Kakashi kept all his 1,000 jutsu as well,
Yeah, more
Yeah.
likely.
unlike
Yeah.
the
And
Boruto.
also, don't forget, guys, it's in character. Sasuke doesn't use a Sharingan unless he absolutely needs to. Like when he was beating
Yeah.
up Naruto, he was like, "Oh, I don't even need the Sharingan against you, bum." So,
Well, he
It
used
wasn't
it
until later.
yeah,
it
he
wasn't
did
until later on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm
Okay.
gonna say
He
he
beats
does.
his ass and then he turns it
Like
on.
he even did against the Sound 4, where he's like fighting them, and he's not even turning it on until later. You know.
Mm-hmm. Jay, did you have anything more to say on this, or can I give my interpretation?
I guess basically he'd be even faster, or at least neurological processing speed wise faster with the Sharingan, and he'd be surpassing speeds even beyond weightlessly.
Okay.
I'm not gonna say he'd be like fifth gate speed, that's pure conjecture, but yeah, he
So,
would handle.
I know Oodie's gonna want to wait on this probably, but out of curiosity, why are you saying Sasuke reaches faster speeds when using the Chidori than his Taijutsu speed?
Because force equals max times acceleration, and prior when he was trying to punch the dome, it didn't do shit. But as soon as he used the Chidori, it only took one blow to go through it and go
That's
into Gaara's
ignoring
body.
the Chidori lightning style hand part
What do you mean?
entirely. Well, that's just ignoring like the Sasuke doing the hand signs to make the lightning bolt in his arm that has chakra focused in the hand. Like it's ignoring the rest of Chidori that isn't running.
I don't see what's
Also,
the
the fact
point.
that
What do
it's
you
a
mean by
piercing
that?
attack versus a punch.
I mean, again, force is force. You're just splitting hairs as far as the radius of effect.
Well, no, I'm not splitting hairs because Sasuke's doing a thing, concentrating chakra into his hand, turning into lightning style. That increases the force. It doesn't have to just be the running speed, if at all. Because we actively know he's done something to increase the jutsu's force. when doing Chidori. Like, we know that's a component. There's no disputing it.
Man, it's not mutually exclusive. The fact that he's running, he's trying to increase its force.
But again, yes, so standing still versus running, yes. But that doesn't necessarily mean that this run was faster than a previous run. We know the force that the attacks increase based on, the lightning style concentrating chakra in the hand aspect. That alone can be the difference. You're necessitating that the running speed also increased. And I'm asking
it's both.
why you're
That's why it's not.
necessitating that.
Because the speed at which, well, first of all, the Chidori obviously in itself increases force, but coming at someone with high speed would further add to the force.
It would, but again, Sasuke could have gone at that same speed when punching the dome and had no effect because the punch wasn't enough. The actual Chidori Jutsu lightning style concentrate chakra in the hand aspect can be the only difference. And the same
I don't see why that's
because you're
what's the point of that?
You're necessitating he did run faster with the Chidori. And I'm asking you, why are you saying that factually he did run faster?
Because of the result of the attack.
So this is getting into the can of worms.
Quantify the difference from the lightning style concentrate chakra in the hand portion.
So Kamui's gonna love talking about this.
So you're saying that the Chidori is the reason that he was able to pierce it, not the running?
Well, the running was part of his particular Chidori there, but Sasuke can do the same run and just punch and not pierce the dome. And the only difference in that case would just be, like, again, the lightning style of the hand, the concentrate chakra, the arm portion of the Chidori attack.
So they just both play a factor. The point is, he has an ability to create a level of force that Lee doesn't.
See, okay, that's a separate argument, but I'm focusing on when you said that he was running faster. It's starting to sound like you're saying that's not necessarily the case anymore, just that the overall output of the Chidori would be greater than a Taijutsu punch. Those are going to be two separate arguments at that point.
Oh, I see what you're saying now.
So is he running faster, or does he just have a stronger attack? Because these are two different things.
Also, it doesn't necessitate necessarily a stronger attack. It could just be a more concentrated attack, since it's more like a spear than like a brute force punch. But that's like a different thing entirely.
Because, for example, like, you can punch a hole, or you can punch a wall with the same amount of force as you stab a wall with a knife.
Exactly.
The knife is way more likely to pierce through that wall than that punch, despite the force being equal, just due to the spear versus blood force aspect.
And that's not to say the knife is stronger than the hand because if it's made out of a stronger material, because even if it's made of the same material, let's say bone, it's the shape of the material.
Baseball bat, and it's the same material.
Yeah. Okay.
It would be the shape in that case. Spear versus hammer.
And that is like a thing that Kishimoto loves to do, especially like this is one of the instances. It's the idea of the spear versus the shield. You see that with Gaara versus Kimimaro. You see that with Naruto versus the third Raikage. It's just something that he just repeats.
Himself, yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Pretty common thing in Naruto.
Kishimoto loves the spear versus shield. Anyways, where were we on this?
I guess well, Jay, thoughts?
See. It's a move reserved for assassination. The secret is in the speed of the thrust and the immense chakra produced.
Okay, Kamui, I have a feeling I know what you're about to do.
The whole point of the Lee speed training was to get Sasuke to the level of speed required for the attack that Sasuke's doing here. So you got to Lee speed to do this attack is what I would argue at least was implied. But either way, nothing's saying that Sasuke ran. Well, also, I mean, you can call this weaker evidence. It's still accumulating in this direction. Nobody watching the Chidori is commenting on how Sasuke got any faster. Nobody thinks that. It's only, what's that sound? In fact, I have a post about this somewhere in that chat room, but it's the chirping noise. The fact that Sasuke pierced the sand. It's not about his speed. Nobody's reacting. Nobody's surprised. There's no acknowledgement of Sasuke running any faster than he did before. Which would just be further evidence that he didn't run faster, because if he did, there's a good probability that somebody would have noticed.
We do have ridiculous arguments for this posted in the debates tab as well, Kamui, so we'll get to those when we see those of characters reacting.
Yeah. We do have some funny ones for that.
Yeah. I will say, though, and this isn't even necessarily the case, but I do think one thing they could be trying to say here is that Sasuke didn't need one or the other. He needed both the Lee speed and the Chidori combined to get through Gaara's sand bubble here. If he only had one or the other, it wouldn't have been enough, and he wouldn't have been able to take out Gaara. Just like a possibility. I'm not even saying that's necessarily the case. It's just could be what's implied.
Yeah, because if you're gonna, because actually no, because with the previous argument that Jay made about Sasuke, he doesn't use things he doesn't need to unless he needs to. So if Sasuke didn't need to use the Lee speed and only needed to just stand still and use Chidori, then by that previous argument he would have. So if we're gonna keep Sasuke consistent here, he's doing both because he needs both.
Hey, all I'm gonna say is if Naruto tripped with his Rasengan, he going through that motherfucker. Rasengan and Chidori, they just built like that. They badass. All right, I'm gonna know.
So
well, okay, this is stupid. If Naruto did that, he wouldn't break a hole where he hits the Rasengan, but the opposite side would, like the other thing.
Yeah.
Yep, and then Gaara will be bleeding from the back. Ah, my back.
So I do want to just add some conjecture here, just like off the record, just because why not? I think it's pretty obvious that Sasuke can't get through the sand bubble. You could argue he's using his Lee speed, which means I don't think that Lee could get through the sand bubble with his Lee speed and nothing more. Likewise, I think if Sasuke tried to use Chidori just standing still next to the sand bubble, ignoring the spikes that are going to obviously attack him anyways, I think it's going to be similar to what happens with Kimimaro versus Gaara's Sand Shield. Or even like, if you remember, you have Boruto using his, whatever he was using before Purple Lightning in the tuning exams versus Shinki's Iron Sand. And it's like, it's hitting it.
Arrow, whatever, like yellow lightning jutsu was.
Yeah, and it's like cracking it. Or like for Kimimaro, it's like kind of going through, but not really. And then in both cases, Kimimaro's breaks and then Boruto says he needs more power than activates Purple Lightning to get through. So you could argue something similar is going to happen here to where Sasuke is going to try and get through the sand bubble with his Chidori, and maybe he'll make it like part way through, but he's either not going to make it all the way through before the Chidori stops, or the spikes are just going to attack him, obviously, before he finishes getting to Gaara, assuming he could go through.
Yeah. So regardless, he does have the ability to create more force with his strikes.
Well, not necessarily, but going back to the knife versus basement, a steel knife versus steel baseball bat against the wall analogy. You can use the same force. The knife can go through it without the baseball bat going through it, just due to the nature of the knife, the spear versus the blunt force object.
There's more capability for more force at a single point. I guess I should be more specific. He's capable of generating a higher amount of force at a specific point than Lee ever could.
Yeah, that's what the Chidori does. It's like concentrating it into a single point is how Minato describes it.
Yeah, so that's the point.
Mm-hmm.
But, so to clarify, then, are you retracting the argument that Sasuke is running faster, or are you sticking with that?
Running fast. I mean, he's increasing his speed to create more force, but
but is he running faster than his Lee speed, or is he just using his Lee speed? Which one are you going with now?
I don't think this really matters for this point, but might as well answer.
Yeah, I guess I could say using Lee speed, but he's capable of higher speed with his Sharingan. I'd say at least neurological processing.
Well, why?
Speed.
Oh yeah, okay. Is he capable of higher movement speed or just better reactions?
I think if your body's if you have higher neurological speed and you're able to react in that time period, then your body speed must be more than likely increased as well.
That's fair to an extent, yeah.
Well, that's not really. I'm trying to think. Say that again. How you said it again?
If you have the neurological speed to perceive something and your body is able to react to that, then your body most likely has to compensate for the lack of speed it had previously, so its speed increases as well.
Okay, yeah, so the difference though is like with A's lightning armor, that's basically how that's working for. I mean, he's quite literally amping his neurological reaction speeds in addition to his movement speed. But for Sasuke, it's like he's getting a head start. So if I have a bull charging at me from 100 feet away versus 50 feet away, Sasuke's Sharingan turns that 50 feet away into 100 feet away. Ignore the specific numbers, it's the idea. He just gets the head start on his reaction without having to move any faster.
So the byproduct
Which is
of
why
higher
he makes this point that he does early on in their fight. It's that in Sasuke's, he was just too slow versus Lee, that Sasuke's body couldn't react despite that advantage. But once Sasuke is close enough, it does matter. It does aid, because he gets a head start. This is the point.
So a byproduct of increased neurological processing speed is physical speed.
Well, no. He didn't move faster, he just moved earlier, is what's happening with the Sharingan's precog.
So Kamui's saying it translates into effective speed rather than literal speed.
Yeah, so like Sasuke's not going to run the 100-meter dash faster, but he's going to predict the start gun before everyone else and start the race sooner. If that makes sense.
I mean, if you could predict it and your body can't react to to you perceiving something, then what's the? I think that's
well, he has to be close enough
oversimplification
for it to matter. Because again, if the gap's too big, it just doesn't matter. But the point is, he gets a set head start. Basically, like I'm going to give a hypothetical number. The number doesn't matter. It's the idea. If Sasuke gets a 5-second head start, well, if Lee is 10 seconds faster, tough luck, Sasuke. That's not good enough. But if Lee's only 4 seconds faster, now that Sasuke has a 5-second head start, it effectively becomes a 1-second head start of his reaction. So he gets to be out of the way in time. If that makes sense? Without Sasuke moving at any different speed, he just moves sooner.
So just to make that more clear, because we might be getting lost in the sauce a little. Obviously,
wait, to clarify it too, though, real quick.
Yeah.
To make sure they're gonna circle it, and I'm pretty sure you're gonna say something too.
Mhm.
Jay, like you guys remember the moment when Lee first fights Sasuke, right? Like he can see him with his precog, whatever, but his body's too slow to respond. Right?
Yeah.
So Jay's basically getting at like he has to have the bare minimum speed in order to utilize his precog, because if not, then he would just get blitzed.
That's what I was using in my example.
With Lee and Sasuke, or Killer B and Sasuke, etc. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So obviously, speed is distance over time. So if Sasuke with the Sharingan can react to the starting gun faster than the other characters, but Sasuke is the same speed as the other characters, well, Sasuke is faster than those other characters, speed over time. That is true, but that's not really what Kamui's getting at when he's saying speed. He's referring to Sasuke's top speed, how fast he can run at any given moment.
To say that Sasuke, so the clock. Okay, so I'll make this exaggerated. The gun goes off. Sasuke starts running. He starts running at exactly 0 seconds, like on the split millisecond, and he finishes the 100-meter dash in 10 seconds. And Hinata starts at 10 seconds, moves at the same speed as Sasuke, but she finishes the race at 20 seconds because she started 10 seconds later. They actually moved at the exact same speed. Hinata just started 10 seconds later. Is what
No. Like, to make sure you're going to start, I'm pretty sure Jay understands that. Like, I'll double check with him. Like, we get that because, like, what you're literally describing, we blatantly see that when Sasuke gets 3 Tomo against Kyuubi Naruto. When Sasuke had 2 Tomo, whatever, his precog was at a level to where he could respond, but not really, and he was getting overwhelmed. Then he gets further precog, and now because he has that, he's able to make up for like that time speed gap or whatever, and now he's able to dominate because of the precog alone. His speed didn't change at all, but his precog got better, and now he's shitting on Kyuubi Naruto. I'm pretty sure Jay understands that, and he agrees on that. I think what he was getting with was more of like Sasuke still needs the speed. Like if you have the neurological or whatever, you still need the speed, right, in order to make something happen. If you don't, you don't.
So I think the convolutedness is with the example of the 100-meter dash or whatever. So just get out of your head the idea or the concept of, oh, I can run the 100-meter dash in 10 seconds versus 5 seconds or whatever. Throwing that away, looking at it from a different angle, and again, ignore the numbers. Kamui's argument is that base Sasuke and Sharingan Sasuke have the same top speed of running like 20 miles an hour, rather than Sharingan Sasuke running 25 miles an hour. It's like a better way to look at it, probably.
Yeah.
Either way, where are you at, Jay? Are we all on the same page, or is there something else? Or
I think they're trying to argue that they're mutually exclusive, but they're not.
Gotcha.
Reaction speed. Reaction speed obviously is the first step. It's not a mutually exclusive like set of steps. They flow. So if, for example, if runner A and runner B start running, and one perceives the gun going off before the other, then
that's not going to make his top speed necessarily.
Yeah, so I think a better way, instead of the race, think of it like you're on a treadmill that's gradually increasing speed. And for this, we'll just say that both runners have infinite stamina. If it's gradually increasing speed, then eventually both runners are going to be thrown off because the treadmill's going to be too fast. Kamui's argument is that both base Sasuke and Sharingan Sasuke are going to be thrown off the treadmill at the same time. If that makes sense.
Same speed.
Same speed, yeah. Same speed.
Trying to see how to explain it.
Yeah.
Because person 1 reacts to the start gun faster than person 2 doesn't mean person 1's start time is going to be faster than person 2's. They can be the same. They could be slower. It could be faster. It doesn't have any bearing.
I feel like to simplify this, to make it a lot more simple, I'll just ask this question for moderation purposes. Like, Jay and you two, like, do you guys agree that Sasuke with a Chidori is the same speed, you know what I mean, as what was stated that you brought up way earlier with Guy, or Jay, do you not agree with that and you think Sasuke is moving at a faster speed? Just to simplify it, you know what I mean? Like, otherwise, because we're going to be going
is he moving
calculus equation process, you know what I mean?
Because Kamui's the most die on this hill, double down. He's gonna
regardless
talk
of
about this for 3 hours.
What the reasoning? Make it simple. Like, is he the same speed as before, or is he faster? Like, I think that'll make it just simple.
Because I do agree with Kamui, but I don't really care about the power scaling. I care about the narrative behind this. But that's a whole other topic.
Oodie, I'm not going to bring that up until after the debate's over. If Jay doesn't bring it up, then we'll get into like the thing we were actually expecting. I'll be honest with you, Jay. You have not said what we were expecting. It's effectively turning into a similar idea, but it's not the same thing. We'll wait on that though.
Yeah, I'm trying to differentiate correctly.
Yeah, so again, is he using elite speed during Chidori, or is he using Sasuke's quote unquote least speed during Chidori, or is he using faster than Sasuke's quote unquote least speed during Chidori?
Or I guess another way to look at it, does the Chidori allow him to move faster than his normal top speed? Okay, whatever. Kamui does not want to go down that rabbit hole.
Well, not if you don't have to, because that's going to be another 30 minutes at this point.
I know. Just trying to make it clear.
Yeah, I have to think and see.
The same, you said?
No, I have to think to see how I'm going to word it so I don't get cornered.
Okay, sorry.
If you want, we could just come back to this if you want some time to think on it. We could move on for now and come back to it. Or we could.
Depends on how well you think and listen to something else at the same time.
I know, but it just depends on what Jay wants to do. Yeah. It also kind of depends on how long you want to think about it. Because if you want like 30 minutes, then we probably should be back.
You guys don't have to do it. That was just more of a proposal. You know what I mean? So you feel free to do whatever you want to do.
Yeah. But it's up to Jay. Okay, while Jay is thinking, at the very least, I'll say my interpretation of this scan, since I never got to do that earlier. So, Kamui, my way to argue for Jay's side here, because I have to do that for every single argument tonight. So Lee is saying that he doesn't have the same eye as Sasuke, but if you remember, he doesn't necessarily have to be referring to the Sharingan. Sasuke, when he's fighting Haku, doesn't have the Sharingan activated until the end of the fight, but before that, he's like, oh, with these eyes, I can see! Oh,
Okay,
such
okay, but
special eyes I have.
He doesn't know those eyes.
He doesn't know those eyes, but at the very least, Kishimoto does. He's the one that writes this.
Yeah, but this is Lee's dialogue, so Lee would have to know about those eyes.
It could be an
Wait, does
inconsistency.
even Sasuke know about those eyes?
You know what's crazy?
Sharingan in that scene.
Oh, just saying.
Crazy. It's like
Those eyes
fucking
exist.
like I remember Sage at Thick Calves, like this scan got brought up and he was talking about it, whatever, and he was swearing up and down like this just means like Lee, like along the regards, like he doesn't have like the speed or whatever, but like some weird shit. And then I remember talking when I was in spot, I was like, well, no, like if you look at like the overall context and what's being emphasized, Lee's just mainly saying like if he was using the same speed Sasuke was using. You know what I mean? It's not like he can't do the speed. Like we know damn well if he did first gate, you know what I mean? Like he's going way beyond the speed level of weightless Lee, right? You know, like, and obviously that's a speed blitzing tier of speed. So then he would
And he
just
could
blitz
still attack.
yeah, like he could still blitz people without a fucking shotting gun. Is basically what I'm getting at. You know, like if you're just faster than someone, you're faster, right? And he was swearing up and down because of that statement. Like he's like, no, that's impossible. Like you can't just go forward or whatever. But and it's like, yes, you can. It's happened. Like
So this,
but,
I mean,
I
this
don't
whole
know, it's
thing
weird.
gets into another thing that we won't bring up unless we have to. Well, we'll address it vaguely at the end after, but outside the debate. But if we have to, we will get into it. But Oodie knows I will.
That's
It
Chidori
was
thing.
just the whole thing. It was just
Yeah.
the whole thing where like Sage swore up and down like a ninja can't go at full speed. Did I'm like, yes, they can.
Yeah,
Like,
don't
they
get me
can,
started
Yeah.
on Sage of Thick Calves.
Literally, like the only difference is like if opponent B is the same speed level as you, right? And you launch at them, okay, and you don't have precog, yeah, it's gonna be very easy for them to deal with a B line attack, right? Or to deal or counter accordingly. We see that with Kid Kakashi with the fucking Joning. They're the same speed, they're equal, they go, and then you know what I mean? That's why it's dangerous and reckless. That's why you use the fucking shotting gun, you know?
Yeah, I think I got it. So
Okay.
I'll say, for the sake of the debate, without Sharingan, I'll be specific. He is moving at the same, probably around the same speed as weightlessly when using the Chidori.
Okay.
And with the Sharingan,
He's faster because if we presuppose they have relative physical speed with him just in base, which is the case, which is stated, he'd have superior precog with the Sharingan, so he would have superior reaction times on top of equivalent physical movement speed. So he would basically be starting before Lee could because he could perceive things at a higher rate. His neurological
yeah,
processing
So
speed.
that's the effective speed. So that's okay. That's exactly
that's
that's
the
fine.
effective combat speed. But you did say in there his movement's the same. He just has the better reactions, which is going to make his overall combative ability speed greater. Is what it sounds like you're saying there.
So
Yes.
in other words, we're all on the same page. We agree on this point.
But I do want to say something funny in relation to all of that. Would you agree that the way Sasuke used Chidori here is in character for how he would use Chidori in the final rounds of the Chunin exams?
In character,
Like the way
That's a tough one
Sasuke
because-
in the final rounds used Chidori, is that how he would in character use Chidori in the final rounds?
against a general opponent, I'm hesitant
Like,
to
if
say
it's a
because
different
they're not.
opponent,
I would probably
but
say
it's-
no for the sake of the debate. No,
well, why?
because the specific opponent he's facing has a high density dome defense. I don't think anyone else is going to run into that altercation
Okay, in terms
or
of
that.
Sharingan usage, do you think it would be the same or different?
He would probably depend on the opponent as well. Lee, knowing the speed at which he can produce strikes, he would utilize it probably sooner than he did against Gaara. Gaara's more stationary.
Okay. That's because I was like, we're not going to need to do it. But if you had said in character, I would have said, well, in character, he doesn't use it until the last section.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
but-
That's why I wouldn't agree to that because then that would basically be surrendering that. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I agree with you on that point as well. I do think, to be fair, part of that is unfair because Kakashi's only training him to use the Chidori against Gaara rather than outside of the Gaara. Like, he's giving him Chidori for Gaara. That's not to say, obviously, he doesn't expect Sasuke to use Chidori ever again. He expects Sasuke to keep it in his arsenal to use it against other opponents. But Sasuke's training, the way he's training it is for the Gaara fight.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's definitely training specifically for that, but that doesn't
because like
automatically
hypothetically,
negate the possibility that
he might not do any of this.
Well, but that's to say, Kamui, because of the way he was trained, he might not know a different way to do it. So he might do his Gaara strategy Chidori against Tamari because that's the only way he knows how to use it at the time, because that's the only way Kakashi taught him. That's obviously headcanon as well, but just a possibility. But I do like the idea that Sasuke would be smart enough to know to do it different kinds of ways.
I mean,
he would definitely utilize his Sharingan to his advantage.
Yeah.
Yeah. But based on his prodigal talents and high IQ, he would certainly take advantage of his own Sharingan against someone like Lee.
IQ is questionable based on the first argument.
I mean, yeah. But against Lee, he would certainly use the Sharingan. It would be advantageous there to use it early on.
Okay.
He would obviously tailor his approach to the opponent.
All right, that's cool. That's cool. Yeah, I think
to whatever's next.
We got that. So, Jay, what is Sasuke's counter to Lee dropping his weights on Sasuke at close range?
Sharingan.
Oh, you did say that. Okay.
Well, how can you prove that the Sharingan's fast enough?
Oh my gosh.
I mean, you guys conceded to that. He'd have a sooner starting point to react than Lee would.
Well, not if Lee does it at close range.
The precog, he would just turn it on and he would be able to move it. He'd be able to have an earlier starting point than Lee would. So when Lee throws a strike, he'd have more time than something.
Lee's obviously going to know the attack himself, so he has the earliest starting point because it's not going to get any earlier. He just knows what he's doing, so he would have to, and he's good.
It wouldn't matter though because he'd have a quicker starting point. Like the point in time at which he's starting his. Again, he even admits, I don't have the ability to perceive beeline attack. So let's say he throws a strike that's linear in fashion, and it's one of these movements. We're not saying he's
throwing it, like hypothetical.
No, it's dropping it in the same way he dropped it in the prelims. If Sasuke's just under Lee when Lee drops it.
Oh, yeah, because Sasuke's not going to know how heavy that is.
That's stupid. Yeah, everyone reacted only after it hit the ground. And we agree, Sasuke has an ego. Maybe he'll try to take it head on to prove his point.
No, he's not that retarded. He definitely wouldn't move out of the way from that.
Okay.
Well, he might just sidestep like 1 foot to the left so it doesn't hit him in the head, not expecting it to be like 1 billion pounds like it is. Especially if
knowing Kakashi,
he's just gonna casually dodge it.
No, I don't think he's arrogant to the point where he would intentionally take damage. That's not even a character
intentionally
for him.
Taking damage because he doesn't know how much those weights actually are.
I do think
it's not in a character for him to be that stupid. He never does that.
Hilariously,
he dodges like kunai, like just simple dodges sometimes, right? He doesn't have like every time you throw a kunai at him, he doesn't like backflip 500 feet away from it.
I mean, that's the false dichotomy. That's not the same as a kick coming at you. That requires more evasion than just moving out of the way of a kunai.
Lee's just taking off the weights, like, I shall take off my weights. Sasuke's not expecting this to be an attack.
But you'd have the Sharingan to see at a quicker point in time what's taking place.
Yeah, but I don't think we have any evidence that the Sharingan can see how heavy those weights are.
It could analyze them on a molecular level, see how many molecules it is.
You mean, what are you saying that he would
express how heavy it is?
Well, the molecules would be so close together he could see the density.
Okay, can you prove that?
Sharingan can see on a molecular level.
But that doesn't mean he can see the atomic level to know the atomic weight.
It's not about atomic weight, it's about how close the molecules would be together.
Well, the atomic weight would still matter too, though.
Yeah, well, you know. I guess
what are you saying about? What do you mean by the weights? Like he wouldn't care that the weights are removed?
This is goofy. So, like, okay, remember when Lee drops the weights on that pillar versus Gaara?
Yeah.
So imagine Sasuke's he's not like standing where Gaara was. He's just standing at the bottom of the pillar because he was fighting Lee hand to hand up close. They get to the pillar, then Lee backflips up there, and Sasuke's at the bottom of the pillar just like looking up at Lee. Then Lee takes off his weight, just like, that is better. And then he drops them. Sasuke's just like expecting, those 2-pound weights to fall to the ground. He doesn't move, or he at least moves if it's gonna hit him in the head. But he just moves out of the way, but he doesn't necessarily backflip all the way to the other end of the arena, because why would he? He just sees.
I'm assuming.
Expects to be lightweight.
First of all, weight.
So Lee catches him off guard, essentially.
Stupid.
The weights hitting him seems very unlikely. I don't know why he.
Well, I'm not saying it has to hit him. It can land next to him. That's enough to do some damage, based on what
Next
we
to
see
him?
into the arena.
I mean, I'm assuming if he sees things of high, like he's obviously going to know that they're weights. Maybe not know how heavy they are, but I don't see why he would intentionally stay near them or allow them to hit him. That's very illogical.
And Kamui, I'm so sorry to argue against you. Why would they damage him if they land next to him? It's not an explosion.
I think you need to go back and look at what happened.
No, it looks like an explosion.
This was not the spear type of attack, okay?
Obviously, it cracks the ground. It's putting up the dust in the air is realistically what's happening. It's not blowing air backwards or anything. Oh my god.
Just to re-clarify, like, are you saying like the fucking concussion, like force, like the air currents itself would hurt it? Because that's the only thing that's gonna hit
Okay, to be fair,
the floor particles might hit Sasuke.
To be fair, I complained about it when it happened, but it did happen in Attack on Titan Season 2 when spoilers, but when the Colossal Titan falls off the wall and makes everyone have a heat concussion. I complained about it, but it happened. So if this happened in Naruto, it can happen. I'd complain about it, but it happened in Attack on Titan. It's in the realm of possibility for writers to write that.
The weights, 82.
Yeah, the weights only make like a crater into the ground. It doesn't.
Yeah, I'm trying to look at it.
It's not like a.
Now, just out of stupidity, I will say in regards to the Sharingan precogging it. Well, technically, if Sasuke does what Kakashi did to Zabuza and reads the future through whatever Genjutsu shenanigans or whatever's happening in there, then he could see what Lee's gonna do before Lee knows what he's gonna do.
There was a drastic difference between like when the weights
whoever said that, I don't remember.
Like overpower everybody. It didn't like, you know what I mean? Like if anything, like Kakashi was like, really, guy, like that's too much. Like it was all around those type of reactions. And then when like Lee goes into the fourth gate and takes a single footstep, like everybody's getting overwhelmed by the sheer power and speed alone. Like it's like a fucking hurricane in the room. You know what I mean? So like it's nowhere near like to that point, you know? So I don't think it's gonna do nothing to fucking Sasuke.
I'm just curious. I'm looking at the anime version to see.
Well, actually, okay, you guys are gonna laugh. There is some kind of estimate we have to work with, and you're immediately gonna dismiss it, but I'm gonna say it anyways. In Rock Lee SD, so the Rock Lee spin-off gag anime, they do confirm that Lee can hold up a 10-ton and later a 20-ton iron umbrella. So we have an idea. We have some kind of rough gauge or measurement for the weight Lee is able to sustain.
Yeah, that's why he could beat Goku.
Now it's so stupid.
Yeah, he wouldn't let the weights hit him, and he would just gracefully, it hits the ground and the ground breaks, he would just jump and land gracefully.
Well, Jay, I do want to.
I have another funny argument.
Okay.
So this does require the anime because you can't really see this in the manga. Lee's weights cause an earthquake.
Oh my god.
Does Sasuke have any encounters by earthquakes?
So stupid.
I guess he could gracefully jump away and just watch it.
Well, I think a better argument would be, well, the earthquake didn't do anything to anyone, so it doesn't matter.
Well, they're up on the bleachers, not on the earth.
Gaara was. Gaara.
Gaara's on his sand.
Yeah.
It's soft now.
I do think
Hayate's fine, but Hayate's a Jonins.
As funny of an argument as it is, I think technically, and again, it's stupid and hilarious and outrageous, but it is legitimately something he could do. Instead of just dropping the Lee on Sasuke's heads, or dropping the weight on Sasuke's heads, Lee could just take the weights off and not drop them and hold them in his hands and try and slap Sasuke with them like they're nunchucks.
He's gonna do like Shino's drop the bug on Kankuro maneuver. He pretends to punch and he drops the weight on Sasuke as Sasuke ducks down.
So we're doing the weight lotus. Okay.
He can also throw the weights as well, which is straight.
The sheer weight of the, obviously upon his arms would lower his speed, and it would make it easier for Sasuke to counter.
Oh, you know what? He
You'd
can
be
also
swinging
do
heavy
the.
weights.
You remember the first actual clash between Rasengan and Chidori of Naruto and Sasuke at the final valley? Naruto uses his shadow clone to like sling himself. Lee could just do that with the weight. He could just like spin around in circles to increase the speed to throw it fast.
I mean, then we have to get into his arm strength if he has a good arm.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. And if he has accuracy for that.
Yeah.
Hey, all that
Yeah,
matters.
any other
All that matters. It's the most important thing. Like Jay, you would like this is great for you too. All I'm saying is Rock Lee is greater than Goku because when Goku dropped his weights from his body, it didn't make any dent or crater in the ground. And Rock Lee created like a massive fucking crater. So,
Well,
like,
let me counter
therefore-
that because Goku has 10-ton
Rock Lee
weights on, right?
No, I know. I'm just fucking.
No.
Yeah, no, like,
But this is
Goku
but this is
had
but keep
heavier
in mind.
weights. Yeah,
But
he
keep
had
in mind.
heavier weights, yeah.
But keep in mind, he has those weights on King Kai's planet, where the gravity is 10 times.
Yeah, literally.
Oh, that's right.
So you gotta keep that part in mind too.
Oh no, I'm
Yeah, the
talking about
weights-
Dragon Ball. I'm talking about Kid Goku.
Oh,
Like,
okay.
Dragon
I
Ball,
thought you were talking about
where
Dragon
he's
Ball
doing
Z.
the weighted shit. Yeah.
Gotcha.
And then
Oh, yeah, there is.
even when the time skip happens, it's still in Dragon Ball, and he's like more taller and grown now. He does the weight shit again. I'm pretty sure that was still in Dragon Ball, not Z, and like, and it still didn't do shit. It just fit on the ground like all softly, and I'm like, okay,
So that proves that
Yeah.
he's stronger.
That's what
exactly, facts.
Yeah. I do think using his weights like nunchucks is hilarious. I'm not even gonna say necessarily it's out of character, even though he never does it, because Guy is his teacher, and Guy does that. So to an extent, I could see Lee legitimately do that. But I do think, on a more serious note, on this ridiculous topic, I do think a legitimate way this could actually play out in like an actual fight is if, remember when Sasuke's fighting Yoroi, this guy right here, at the beginning of the fight, before he does his Lion's Barrage, which is what he does to end it, at the beginning of the fight, he has to like do some grappling techniques to like fight Yoroi on the ground, and they're basically immobile. If Sasuke's doing that against Lee, and they're stuck fighting on the ground, I could see Lee using his weights to just like take his weights off and just place them on top of Sasuke, since they're both on the ground anyways. No, it sounds ridiculous, and Kamui, you're laughing at it. It is funny. But legitimately, I could see that being a valid counter strategy to Sasuke trying to grapple Lee. If Lee does that against Sasuke's grappling, not only does that negate the grappling, I don't know how strong Sasuke is, but the weights might legitimately keep him pinned on the ground. I might just end the fight if Sasuke tries that. I don't think Sasuke would try to grapple Lee, but if he does, it is a valid counter strategy.
Yeah, the weights. I'm assuming Sasuke has, with all the physical exertion, he has pretty good upper body strength. I mean, I'm assuming he could at least, maybe not, at least move them off of him.
Well, I think a funnier one is Lee's wearing the weights at the start of the fight for this hypothetical. Sasuke
could always fire style the weights.
Like, the foot, he grabs Lee's foot onto his chest.
True.
That technique that he does first, right? And then he's stuck there. Lee doesn't have to do anything.
Yes, he just lays there.
Sasuke could always do fire style Mataratsu, and he burns the weights.
Not if his because his hands are grabbing Lee's foot, so his hands aren't free for hands.
Like it's a freaking saw trap.
Yeah, but
he's stuck.
He has a Mataratsu.
It's over.
He has to look
Sasuke
at
ends
it.
his own fight.
I don't think tuning exam Sasuke had a Madrasu, but I see where you're going. But like obviously, if he's stuck on the ground, he can't dodge it. He can't be fast enough to dodge it or move out of the way or whatever if he's stuck on the ground. So I do think that would work.
I think it's logical to conclude if Lee could, for who knows how long he's had those weights on, combat other individuals on a high level, it's logical to assume Sasuke, being as talented as he is and the talents that he has, is at least capable of temporarily moving the weights off of him. He at least probably has the strength to, you know, in one altercation or in one event, move the weights off of him if necessary. I think he could at least do that. Maybe not wear them for many, many weeks and days, however long Lee wore them for, but he should have the strength to at least take them off of him if somehow Lee tried to pin him down.
Maybe.
Yeah, when you guys move past the weight point, let me know. I want to see something that's actually funny to that.
Gotcha. I think it is reasonable to say that. At the same time, it was a gag moment, obviously, but everyone's reactions to the weight, it's like, this kid is insane to have those heavy of weights on. I can't even imagine. Guy, you're on another level. You're insane for letting him do that. It's like, there's also like that level of it. So I don't know. It could go either way, though.
Because if Kakashi could see Sasuke being physically capable of doing that, then he wouldn't think Guy is too much for having Lee do it.
That's true, but Sasuke has other talents that are exploited. The only thing Lee has to bank on is his taijutsu and physical, like only his physical prowess. So that's another reason why that's not as emphasized for someone like Sasuke.
How Sasuke trained. I mean, you can make an argument against this, but like Kakashi knows how Lee got this speed with the weights. He doesn't have Sasuke do that. It's not part of the training.
I mean, we don't even necessarily know that. I mean, Sasuke could have been wearing weights over the training. It is possible.
But then I feel like Kakashi, it's most likely that Kakashi would have included that in his answer to Guy. Of what
okay, but then it also should be the case that Kakashi says, I copied Lee, and then I showed that to Sasuke, who then copied me. Not Lee, not Sasuke copied his imagination.
But I mean, to be honest, even though we think that makes more sense, that's just seemingly not what Sasuke's training was.
I agree.
Based on the way Kakashi said it.
And
because he wouldn't need Sasuke to visualize Lee move. They just kind of go against each other. It would be that Kakashi did it, and then he had Sasuke copy himself. So he's saying something that would contradict that idea, so we wouldn't assume that.
So it being ridiculous doesn't mean it isn't the most likely case. So it is the most likely case. But it's ridiculous.
Well, the most likely case is that he did what he said, which is the most ridiculous.
Which is the most ridiculous thing. I agree. Okay. But I think did you want to say your thing on the weights?
Yeah.
I think we're done now.
Oh yeah. As for the weights, Tamari is omnipotent because Lee tried to kick her and he literally is kicking her with the weights on, and the weights hit the fan and she blocked that shit and said no.
Well, that's Tamari upscale.
Yeah, she's universal, sorry.
Well, yeah, who knows how heavy that fan is?
Yeah, it might be heavier.
We haven't talked about Tamari's arms yet.
Yeah, we never saw Tamari drop her fan from on top of that pedestal.
Yeah, her
bro, she would stand. She has raw durability better than Kakashi. Like, she would stand Lee's kick and the weights on top of it. Like, that's crazy.
Yeah, and her fan didn't even dent. It didn't even cause a dent.
And she made fun of his kick for being weak.
Yeah. The funniest answer is Tamari's fan is the weight of 3 moons.
Yeah, it's universal.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, then just makes her statement of blowing the universe away.
It stayed in the Databooks. She's universal, so yeah, the fan is just built different. Yeah.
Easy.
Built different,
The realistic thing is Kishimoto probably just didn't even write the weights of the concept yet when he did that scene and came up with that later.
I mean, it's very soon after that Lee drops the weight, so I don't know. But at the same time, it's a gag moment, so I could see him just coming up with that, like in that chapter.
Exactly. It's like a thing, and then he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna make this ridiculous," and then. It's like never really addressed ever again after that, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, let's see what I'm supposed to read here.
Okay. So, Kamui, what do you think about this?
Okay, yeah, okay. So, Jay.
Oh, God.
Are you aware that Sasuke is only as fast as Lee's average speed, not his top speed? This is Sasuke's top speed, because you already agreed that his movement speed during Chidori is the same as the speed he was using before. So we've already agreed it's his top speed. As Guy mentions that this taijutsu training was to get Sasuke to the level of speed required for Chidori. We already agreed that it's the same speed, and he's never been described to have an even faster speed than that. We already agreed.
So let's see what detail is.
Example.
Okay, this is what you're talking about.
Example. Choji couldn't track Lee's speed, but it's just sitting there smiling but not shocked watching Sasuke fight.
Well,
we have our dialogue here. He's quick. He's almost as fast as Lee's average speed.
Yeah, so this is the argument, really.
Yeah.
With the rest of this just being elaboration.
I don't think every strike and every type of attack is equal in speed. They all vary. At this point in time, when Guy makes his statement, he just happens to be punching Gaara in the face, and that's when Guy states this.
But But Sasuke never gets
I
a
do
statement
think-
of being faster than that at any point.
Well, I will say it's
And
not
you
just
agree.
this. There's also the because it's the top speed
The
as
other-
well. We have that, I think. Yeah, because not his top speed. We're writing
Yeah,
that
well,
for a
we had
reason.
We worded it in a certain way. It was like his ramp up speed, whatever the
Because
the
average
firing
speed
up
is stated
whatever the
here.
wording was.
It's probably going to be
Is it
down
there?
here. I don't know where it is exactly.
We
We'll-
should have images with it. Oh,
it
I'll
might
look
just
at
be
the
this
same
next
time.
one. I figured we would have it in order, but maybe I couldn't do that. I don't know. It's part of
Maybe
the problem is
because,
that they're not in order.
Oh, wait, hold on.
Let's see. Is this
Okay, we have
a...
stuff. Oh yeah, I wrote. Okay, I wrote the chapters. I think is what that is.
Okay,
Where
okay.
I wrote chapters 82 to 85. I think that's referencing for where we need to look to find the other images.
Well, this might be a different argument, but either way, well, no. Okay, this
No,
is
this
average
is
speed.
all
Okay, okay,
related.
yeah. So go ahead and
It's all
read this.
related to the same thing. It's substantiating what
Okay.
guys said here. So let me just go up and pull up these chapters and
Okay.
then see.
Because I just didn't want to start
what I
some
need to
other
do.
random argument. I wanted to make sure we stayed on this one.
No, it's all related. It's just gonna require us to. As you can tell, we really prepared, guys. It's gonna require us to go to the chapters and take images, I guess.
Okay, Kamui says that as if we did a little bit. No, we did. It is real. Like, we did actually prepare a lot. You can see how much is written here for this
yeah.
explicit
So we
debate.
both prepared and are not prepared at the same time.
There is a
Walky
lot,
talky, the Walky Talky paradox.
as you can see. Anyways, I guess, Jay, if you wanted to at least address it while Kamui's pulling it up. So Sasuke is only as fast as Lee's average speed, not his top speed.
Well, what would his top speed be? His fifth gates, or you mean like his top
No.
weightless speed?
His top base speed. is-
Kamui's getting it right now. The elaboration. But if you want to like say words before we elaborate, if you agree, disagree, if you have your own interpretation.
If let's see here.
Okay, I found what I needed.
Okay. Well, Kamui, feel free to present it. Or
Well, I
Jay,
guess
if
okay.
you want to say your thing.
Go back a chapter. I'll have to take a bunch of pages of images then, I guess.
Or I know, Vi Batman, you are the moderator, but please feel free to,
Wait, actually, hold on.
to
I'll
say
just
some words
share
if you
my
want.
screen again. But
Okay.
I'll start sharing my screen when the time comes, just to make that easier. Because we're gonna have to go through. You can still keep your screen up.
Well, it's a little late now, Kamui. Jeez.
All right, hold on. I gotta get out of yours. Well, okay. Does Jay have anything to say, real quick, before I start?
Jay? There you go. I guess
Jay?
not.
Trying to see
Okay.
to the chapter.
Yeah, so Kamui has got it pulled up here on his share screen if you want to
Yeah, I have
look
stuff
at
pulled up. So just based off what we've said so far, do you have anything more to say before we continue?
I would say that I guess the best argument would be that Guy is referencing the movement that's being executed at this point in time, which is a punch. And then all movements have the same amount of speed. I think the overall message is that he's as fast as weightlessly or relative to
Well, it's
weightlessly
almost
in
as
general.
fast. I mean, that's the best you're getting off this one.
Okay, anyways.
Yeah.
Definitively slower.
It was relative.
Yeah.
And
To
then
his
later
average.
on, he says he's that's practically the same speed as Lee without his weights.
Yeah. So again, his average speed though.
Okay, Kamui, go ahead and just do the...
Okay.
So we can't continue
So,
on without doing it.
I'm gonna read this first, and then we'll go look at them.
Mhm.
So, after taking off the weights, Lee was able to outspeed the Sand Shield to hit Gaara. This is likely Lee's average speed that Guy refers to, which Sasuke matches, as Sasuke is able to do the same thing. However, after Guy says to quote unquote explode, Lee ramps up his speed even more, shown by various visuals such as the puff of smoke, or Lee's 2-in-1 panel after images, etc. I'll show you what that looks like in a second, and hitting Gaara even more than before. Sasuke, on the other hand, never gets those visuals, after images, or puffs of smoke, etc., indicating that Sasuke is only as fast as Lee's average speed, as Guy mentions, which isn't Lee's fastest speed, which he uses versus Gaara when Guy says to explode. So we'll start with, okay, he takes the weights off.
So it's like three
Like,
different
look at my
speeds. There's weightedly, and then there's weightlessly, and then there's explosively.
And then there's the gates Lee.
Yeah.
So This is weightless now. Go, Lee. Yes, sir. He dashes behind him. You've just got, his dashing speed line.
And these are his like weightlessly speeds.
Goes back here, does his flip-de-doo, lands the hit. So there's no like puffs of smoke of him. That's the weight that hit the ground there. There's no puffs of smoke from Lee moving around here. There's no after images. He just moving around. He hits Gaara as we see. His famous bleeding. Okay, so then he continues. Blah blah blah. He wounded Gaara. Okay, now Lee explode. Yes, sir. Does the puff of smoke, which, if you remember, this actually is usually used with body flicker. It's a common one. We see this a lot. The puff of smoke indicates a higher level of speed consistently in Naruto. We get that here. Gaara has a reaction, very reaction, despite already having seen things, which would be more indication he's probably going faster. Then he's doing these after images of over here, now here, now here, now here. If you remember the anime.
Well, I'll add.
Trying to go into two places at
I'll
once.
add. Obviously, Gaara's mom
all
is
over the
different from Gaara, and Gaara's mom wouldn't be tricked by the over here after images. She's just operating on instinct, not being fooled or whatever. It's based on speed. So the most obvious visual of Lee being faster here is weightless Lee was not hitting Gaara. Explosively is.
Well, he was hitting him.
Well, he hit him
wasn't
that one
doing-
time, but like this is like a little bit different.
But he's not doing, again, he hit him, which Sasuke did too. He's not doing puff of smoke indication of speed. He's not, in fact, Oodie, can you translate what this might not say anything important, but
It's just an onomatopoeia. It's just a puff of smoke.
Okay. But anyway,
It's
no puffs of
it's
smoke,
basically
there's no after
foosh,
images.
Kamui. It's like foosh, like
Yeah.
whoosh in
Hey,
English.
Whoosh is it. That does imply speed, but anyway. We won't use the onomatopoeia argument. But anyway, after images and puffs of smoke, I do think is legit because that's consistent with the story. And then he hits Gaara and all that. Now we go to Sasuke. Because again, I'm not just gonna say it, I'll show it. So you think I start the fight already? Alright, we gotta wait for him to actually get to his least speed. So at the end, okay, so here he does his dash behind Gaara, no after image. I'm not gonna count the Lee as an after image for obvious reasons. Punches, he lands in on Gaara, same as Lee.
Hilariously, you could argue the one thing we said earlier of the fist would be an after image, but like that didn't make sense anyways.
Well, it's not though. And obviously, him running on this isn't smoke from like the dash, it's from him dragging on the ground. That's different. And then Sasuke comes in. Again, no after images. He's not doing the puff of smoke dash. Him on the ground, it's the same thing that Lee does at one point. These are just different. So he's not doing after images in this fight. Which, those are consistently used to depict higher levels of speed. So if Guy says he's as fast as average weightlessly speed, well, we saw that in the previous chapter when he lands the first hit. Then Lee goes on to do his explode Lee speed, which is even faster, and Sasuke doesn't have any visual depictions that show anything Lee does here.
I think it's also important to note that because weightless Lee is already fighting Gaara, and then after he starts fighting, Guy tells Lee to explode, that tells us that Lee wasn't quote-unquote exploding yet. And then obviously by Lee saying, yes, sir, rather than, I'm already exploding. And then I think that's an indication he's now changed to do something, which seems to be move faster.
And as I mentioned before, Choji's eyes can't even track them. In the whole fight, Choji, he's not worried. He has no issue tracking Sasuke, apparently. He's commenting on things that he's without issue. So we'll stop there for a moment. Thoughts? And
I would
again,
say-
to clarify, this is just in regards to movement speeds, top speeds, how fast they are physically moving.
I bet
I
you
would
never
say
heard
Lee's
this
reaction.
argument before.
Yeah, we
would say Lee's
gotta start ramping up our perplexing surprise arguments. I guarantee you have not heard this argument.
No, I would say Lee's reaction to saying he's so fast introduces a possibility that he perhaps is moving beyond his average speed because he wouldn't be as impressed perhaps by his speed if he's saying...
hold on. Lee saying Sasuke's so fast? Wait, what? Hold on.
Yeah.
Oh, here. Okay. Say what you're saying again?
So yeah. With him saying that, there's a possibility that he he is moving beyond his average speed.
Well, Guy continues to.
Well,
not
hang
say that.
on, Kamui. So when you say that, Jay, when you say he's moving beyond his average speed, are you referring to his? Is that in reference to Sasuke's average speed or Lee's average speed?
I think Sasuke's speed is increased at this point in time, from when when Guy said he's moving at about his average speed, because then Guy gets more specific later on and says that's practically the same speed as Lee without his weights.
Okay, but hold on. This panel says he's almost as fast. What if he just got to be as fast, practically as fast as Lee's average speed now? That's still an increase. That's consistent with what you're saying.
I think Sasuke is getting faster as he's attacking Gaara.
And
as
that's
evident by
fine.
the statements.
But again, so Lee's average speed doesn't have puffs of smoke or after images. Sasuke's faster speed still doesn't have those. So if Sasuke goes from almost as fast as Lee's average speed to Lee's average speed, they would both not have puffs of smoke or after images. Lee can then go beyond that with explode speed, which does have puffs of smoke and after images. And that makes all of Guy's dialogue consistent.
Let's see.
So, for the sake of clarity, what's the chronological order here? Is it that Sasuke starts moving and then Guy makes his comment, and then Sasuke keeps fighting and then Lee makes his comment?
Should be, yeah.
Okay.
Well, actually, yeah, he must say it in the previous chapter.
Because obviously, if Guy says his comment last, then even if Sasuke got faster...
This comment is in this chapter.
Okay, and then the next chapter is Lee.
Is when Lee says he's fast.
Okay.
But he doesn't say he's faster. Okay, I can use the bathroom real quick, so hopefully I don't need to use my computer. I'll use my wireless mic, but I gotta go to the bathroom.
Okay, when Kamui gets back, I'll go.
Yeah, I didn't realize what time it was. Maybe we should.
Okay, I'll
wrap it
hold
up.
it for a little bit then. Yeah, again, whenever you're good, we'll call it there and hopefully come back to this. But
yeah, Jake, I got work in the morning a couple hours from now.
Yeah, I didn't realize how late it was.
Okay. If we want this to be the last argument, that's fine.
Moving forward, though, if you guys aren't wanting to.
Well,
yeah,
so
we
Jay,
could.
I'll be honest with you. If you're down to continue, we'll continue. If you're not, then we're just gonna have to bombard you with a bunch of arguments with when.
Yeah.
It's fun.
Yeah, I guess we could see. I mean, it's fun. We'll see if we can continue.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'll say for equity purposes, we should definitely probably do everything in full before giving any judgments or anything. This way it's fair to both sides. But
I mean, we could do that.
If you just do it as of now, then you can only go off what was presented. But that's up to you, there, guys.
I mean, sometimes judges do debate point by point, so I think we could do that if you guys wanted to. Just like a nice resolution of the stream, especially if we're going to do a part 2. Then I think it makes the most sense to do the conclusion at the end of each stream. But again, it's up to you guys.
I'll leave it up to you, but one thing I will say, just as an example, is like a point we would like to bring up at some point is going to be Sasuke's usage of Chidori, which we just haven't gotten to yet because we just haven't gotten to it yet, which could essentially negate a previous point Jay could have made, but it won't be negated because we were cutting it in half. So like,
in a simple consensus, you guys have been primarily talking about speed, if I'm correct. So
again, there's no particular order. It's just the order of things that we copied and pasted into this room.
Yeah, I tried to make this like very comprehensive to follow because like we wrote it like a different way before. I went back and edited a lot of these to like for example, making the messages into spoilers in a fun way, or like having the argument at the beginning in bold and then the elaboration afterwards. So like all of that, I tried to keep it as like cohesive as possible for this.
I'll be honest, I have not done that for like anything I wrote below. So.
Work in progress.
That's okay.
Yeah, but that's to say, I think off the top of my head, we covered Sasuke. Again, it's stupid to say, but we covered Sasuke's battle IQ at the beginning, and then we covered AP,
Yeah,
and then
damage.
DC or whatever, then
Yeah, the IQ
defense.
too. Yeah, that's correct. Yeah.
We covered the weights,
Yeah.
and we covered speed, and also the
Yeah,
Chidori a little bit, but we'll probably come
So
back
some
to
things
that.
we haven't really gone too much into like usage of Chidori, anything about the gates whatsoever. That's gonna have to come later. Some of our grandest arguments about time, that's gonna have to come at the end, no matter what. There's a reason for that one. You'll understand.
I did want to confirm before anything though, Jay, if you had anything more to say on this current point before either moving on or concluding or ending stream or whatever. Obviously feel free to say whatever else you had to say on this point.
As far as the speed, yeah, I would say their statements as Sasuke performs implies that his speed is increasing. And then obviously the climax is the Chidori. But yeah, I probably would have to go back and think more on it.
Okay, so
How to word it.
This point's on pause, it sounds like.
Yeah.
Unless you want it to be, yeah, okay. Well,
Okay,
this point's on pause. We might as well put the whole thing on pause.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm fine with that too, yeah.
All right. That sounds good.
Okay. Works
So
for me.
I guess come back to it. So did we want to get at least some judgment on the current points?
As they currently stand?
If you guys want, sure, yeah.
Or...
I mean, I'd be down.
Yeah, I'm gonna switch my headphones real quick though, so don't say anything important yet.
You gotta love it. But this also gives.
You guys let the audience decide, or?
Well, I know that you're quote unquote moderator, but like, I mean, you've also been here listening. You could just be the judge. It's like kind of
yeah.
Plus, it also just gives you a chance to say some more stuff too. Give your thoughts on the whole debate as well. At least as of now.
I think the first point was the Sasuke's IQ.
Yeah. Stupid.
That one, I think. Yeah, I think we went over that pretty effectively. We said our piece on that.
Yeah. For equity purposes, if you guys are cool with it, that's fine. You know, I wasn't gonna be really opting in because obviously I know Jay, you two know each other. Why not? So
yeah.
But that's all it is. But other than that, like I'm down to to give further thought if you need. In a simple consensus, basically, I'd say Jay. I was more in favor for Jay throughout, but at least for the speed notion, I say there definitely needs to be further discussions.
Yeah, that does for sure.
What's it called? I don't, because again, you guys didn't fully finish, so it's not really fair for me to fully give that one out. As for like AP and whatnot, I was more on Jay's side because again, like the bleeding, blah blah, whatever, yada yada. And like with the strongest opponent scan he showed, so things like that, But that's about it.
Yeah. Yeah, we can go back to the speed point too.
Yeah.
We can like put a pin on it and then continue that one once I've like thought of how to once we have obviously like schedule it, and then I could think of how to better articulate like a counter for that too. Or for that specific, I guess, claim you guys made about the average speed statement and stuff like that.
Sounds good, yeah. Okay. Anything else for judgment or whatever? For any of these
Batman had anything else or not? Should I go hair in my mouth?
Is that Batman? You got some?
That's all I can really think of. You know what I mean?
Okay. Oh, we also covered the conscious versus unconscious thing. I forgot we did that.
Oh yeah, I guess you can give a take on
that one. I can't really. I don't remember fully that well. I can't really say. I would have to go.
Well, out of curiosity, did Lee take life-threatening damage or not?
Oh yeah, when we're debating whether or not Lee had life-threatening damage or not.
I would have to go back to have a more fair assessment, but I guess from my memory, and hopefully I'm remembering correctly, like whether if it was deeming life threatening or not, I think based upon like Guy intervening and whatnot and all of that, that yeah, his life was threatened if it was regarding that context. You know what I mean? Because he did it to save his literal life, otherwise he would have died right there and then. So I'm more, yeah, I do think Lee's life was threatened, but again, I don't fully remember that whole. There was a lot going on.
Yeah, there was a lot.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
there
was
a
one
lot.
of the earlier points as well. So I get that.
Yeah. No, yeah, that was a lot.
Okay.
Yeah, that was that the IQ part, or like whether or not Sasuke was stupid. The
And wasteful.
yeah, that one and wasteful. Yeah, and wasteful. Yeah, I think that was the other one. Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, as for the wasteful IQ thing, I thought Jay had better things and whatnot, but that's all I could,
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, we'll come back to sure.
There was moments where I was leaning more with you guys at certain, but at least in a general consensus overall, I felt like it was more stronger with Jay though, and that was throughout the entirety of like there's you know what I mean, but basically like you both did very well.
I appreciate that.
Both gave
Yeah, we had
even to the point where you both were also on the same page. You all were in agreement, that happened throughout, whether if it was Jay or you guys. So it was both good, but overall, as a whole, if I was saying what I'd more just me, more for Jay and whatnot. But as for the speed, I feel like that needs to just be dived into way more. Because currently, as of all that, I feel like you guys had way more for Lee. And until there's like more and whatnot, it's you know what I mean? Like I can't really go any further. If I just went based off that, then I would say like as of now, currently, you guys potentially have stronger in favor for speed. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's only because Jay didn't get to like present all his counter and blah blah and the whole nine. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Like, what you guys just into with the whole speed thing and whatnot and the levels and everything.
Out of curiosity, how many of these points have you never seen before that are like completely unique or creative?
Most importantly, how surprised and or perplexed were you by the point so far?
Yeah.
I think
definitely the beginning a good amount. Some of them and whatnot. I didn't expect those myself. I wouldn't necessarily thought.
Yeah, me either.
I'm in favor for Lee. So yeah, there was some that were definitely oh shit. You know what I mean? And then there was some where I actually was already on the same page, in an agreement, and so on and so forth. So like the one where you started talking about the speed and whatnot, like prime speed and average and all that. So which has like direct correlation to like the retrieval arc and stuff and whatnot. Where like, but yeah.
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 Okay. One more
Jay,
question.
From your perspective,
Ooh, okay.
Which argument caught you the most off guard, the most perplexing? Hold on, I gotta think about what I'm gonna say to this.
Well, probably the let's see, out of all the arguments, probably I'm trying to think which one. Maybe probably the speed, the average speed one, or the one about the Chidori's, like the force with the Chidori included. Probably one of those.
That one was actually just on the fly. I was pretty proud of it.
Yeah. That one, yeah. Those two, I think, were the most where I had to think the most, like how to like counter those.
Okay.
Well, I'll also clarify, like the unconscious one, it didn't go to the way that technically we could bring this back, but we don't have to. But the way that I ideally would go would be that if your argument's that Lee's gonna get knocked out, well, he's just gonna get stronger now.
Yeah. Oh yeah, exactly.
That's the reason for that one existing.
Yeah.
I think we come back to
that
that
one was
later
surprising
too.
too, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
definitely the speed stuff.
Regardless if you think it's a good or bad point, or if we argued it good or not, what was the most off the wall point that we had? The thing that would cause the most outrage?
Probably the most outrage would probably be
the first one.
Maybe that he's stupid. I don't know.
Stupid.
Maybe that would be the one.
Especially
Probably
the
that
way
he's
it was
stupid,
written.
Yeah, stupid and wasteful would probably be the. That'd
Yeah,
probably be
I'll
the one
I'll
people
say
admire
this,
for.
in all honesty, like obviously Sasuke as a character himself, he's not stupid. He's pretty smart, right? I would
Yeah.
say in general as a whole, like even as a fighter, like he's typically one
Yeah.
of the smarter, ones. But I
It's
will
like
say
obviously a
in
point
the
of the story,
particular
yeah.
instances he was in, like when fighting Gaara and whatnot, or certain things, I would say Lee and Sasuke were both fucking stupid. And that's for so many fucking reasons. Like, I'm gonna be real with you. If a paper bomb can fuck up V2 transformation Gaara at his weak point, when Gaara in base, his entire sand armor is nothing but weak points. Why did at any point in single time did Sasuke and Lee not use a fucking paper bomb with a kunai? That made absolutely zero sense to me. That would fuck his shit
That's
up.
true.
If it can
Yeah, it
fuck a
would.
stronger version of Gaara at his one weak point he has, the only weak point, which is the bottom of his tail when he's in V2 transformation. Yet when Gaara is in his base, everything is all weak points. Lee and Sasuke are both fucking stupid.
Well, keep in
To
mind,
be fair,
that's
like
to be fair,
Datara
you
used
can just argue
one
that Lee and
explosion,
Sasuke's
which
taijutsu
also like
is
proved
faster than a paper bomb's explosion speed, based on Yashimaru,
That's
Jonin
ridiculous.
Yashimaru's point blank range explosion on 3-year-old Gaara, who
But-
doesn't even have sand out at the time.
Yeah,
not wearing a
that's what I was
Gordon
gonna say. So not only is the sand able to counter that, which means it's as fast as a paper bomb explosion, but it countered it.
No, not the sand wall. The sand wall's durability is different from the sand armor. I'm talking about the sand armor. Because even
that's the
Datara,
point, the
even
sand
Datara
wall-
exploited that weakness too, where
Yeah, but
he
the
literally
problem is
just
that
stole him and blew his face
the
up.
explosion speed can just be slower than Lee's speed, based on the fact that point blank range explosions when there is no sand wall isn't fast enough to stop
Yeah,
the
but
sand
if that's
shield
the
from
case,
just appearing.
V2 Gaara could easily counteract with his sand speed.
No,
and
you
his-
just say V2 Gaara is slower than the sand shield.
But I mean, let's be real though. Just let's be completely
Theory,
real. They're not
yeah, if he
faster than the
transformed
paper
into
bomb
more
explosions.
chakra, he'd be stronger and faster. That's just how
I don't think it's the speed. I think it's the force. Like the bomb, it doesn't
Yeah.
matter if he's fast enough. I think it'll go through the sand anyway. Like the
Yeah,
way
it-
like
no,
the
I think
way
it's
Datara's-
both.
Go through. Yeah.
I
Then
think
why did
both
it
are
the way
ridiculous.
Gaara?
I think it's
yeah, like the
just
way Datara
inconsistent.
caught Gaara lacking. Obviously, he had his body armor still on, but it didn't matter. He got cooked.
Yeah,
And
he
then,
still,
Exactly.
yeah, like Gaara literally capitalizes on that weakness. Like he literally,
Yeah.
like he's doing things. The sand wall's blocking, blah blah, whatever you name it. So then he's like, all right, let me just get it in and get a point blank. That's all Lee and Sasuke had to do, just capitalize in the same instance. And if
just get-
if Lee's taijutsu attacks can hit and he's faster, he can most definitely get in there and put a fucking paper, do that after him and shit.
Yes, but he could do what
and blow
Madara
him
did
up.
and put the paper bomb on his face, for sure.
Like literally, there's so many ways, and Sasuke could have also replicated the same thing if he's over here tagging him over and over, etc. Like that's the point being made. Like if they can basically enforce a physical hit, they can most definitely capture a fucking explosion hit. You know what I mean? Is what I'm getting at.
that would catch him.
Actually,
Yeah.
real quick, this is kind
Like
of
if
off topic, but
Naruto can
related.
do it on a stronger Gaara, like come on, like that's just not.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So that's all I'm saying. So if anything, I would say they're both fucking stupid in that regard. But let's be real, there obviously has to be a story, there has to be a plot, blah blah. I get it, whatever. But that's all I'm saying.
Well, it's not just them that's stupid. Actually, Gaara's mom is actually stupid because that sand wrapped around Gaara and that ball, it's sand. Like Gaara's mom can just move it. It sees Datara as spiders, and it doesn't rush in front of Gaara, meaning it's stupid enough to not think that's a threat.
Like you know what's crazy? I could low key see like Kid Kakashi pulling a Wincon like that because he has Earth style jutsus and whatnot. Where like Gaara does that little fucking dome, and Kakashi doesn't even do like a Chidori. He'll just do Earth style, go underground, come right through, and do it and get a Datara win and get a fucking explosion right in his face.
That's
But
facts.
you could do,
Yeah.
you could do like the mud wall, like when you lift people up with the mud wall, or like whatever the other jutsu it's called, like mobile core, I think it's called. And just do that inside the ball so that it lifts Gaara up really fast and he hits his head on the sand ball and gets a concussion.
Stupid.
But the point being said is like Gaara's sand armor it's very very like what I don't know, looking for the word, but its weakness is obviously explosions. Like the explosion doesn't have to be anything crazy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like Datara's weakest level, which I let's be real, if we just analyze it as a whole, I would say is pretty similar to a paper bomb explosion, right? You know, so like that's all I'm saying. Like if you just analyze it as a whole, it's really not hard to beat Gaara if you're smart enough and you have the speed at least. You know?
I mean, low key, I don't think that Gaara's sandball in the final round.
You just gotta knock him out. You just
I
gotta
don't-
knock the motherfucker out.
So
I don't think that
actually, I'm gonna add on to
sandball.
this. Lee's stupid because we don't know if he has
Oh my
paper bombs
God.
equipped. But you know what he does have equipped? Kunai. If instead of punching Gaara in the face, he just used the kunai there. That's it. I'm sorry. That Gaara's dead. He's getting stabbed.
That's stupid. Yeah.
But
That would be a
that's
good
what I'm
idea,
saying,
actually.
there's many ways to go about it, and then not only that, like, what's it called? If you analyze certain things as a whole, like Lee technically has the AP to bypass the sand armor. It was just the sand shield that he was having issues
Yeah, so
with.
actually, we're gonna get to that later on.
Yeah, what's it called? But like, point being said is like, but because of how he like thought and what he did and whatnot, that's why it wasn't executed properly. I won't say anything further because what's it called for the sake of debating and whatnot. But point being said is like Lee is just not that the brightest. You know what I mean? For combat IQ and whatnot, that's kind of where he lacks. And then same thing, and even Sasuke's not perfect. Like there was many things he could do, and he don't even do shit. You know, so
Yeah, despite being genius, prodigy, top of the class, it's like
exactly.
the
Like
ninja
that's the
reincarnate.
craziest thing. This is the genius and yada yada, but yet Naruto, who's technically deemed the opposite, that
Exactly.
motherfucker does something even more crazy against V2 with no rising on no Chidori and causes more damage than both of them combined.
To be fair,
No.
that is just different fighting styles rather than intelligence, but yeah.
Yeah. You know.
I don't think the sandball has a bottom to it. I bet that Naruto could just do what he did against Neji, crawl underground and
Yeah.
uppercut Gaara.
Gaara's the third eye, but he's not gonna necessarily know what he's doing.
Especially if Naruto sends a shadow clone or whatever to do it.
Exactly.
A fun fact, Naruto even it was because he was under Shikamaru's shadow possession, but Naruto was also able to crack his sand armor with a fucking punch. That was before final tuning.
Yeah.
What's it called? So the sand armor really isn't that durable. Mind you, that Naruto's slow as fuck. He's slower than weighted Lee. You know what I mean? And he was able to like.
Well, I guess we prove it. He's faster.
Yeah.
The sand shield.
Yeah. But
Yeah, well, also, that's another example. Gaara's mom didn't stop Naruto's punch there for no reason. But like, also, it's not just the data explosion. Also,
Shikamaru's shadow possession. I think that had something.
Yeah, I don't know why that would stop Gaara's mom, but probably.
Exactly. Like, ironically, it doesn't stop Gaara, but it stops his mom.
Yeah, it was weird. Like it was somehow, some way, like he was because you guys already know it's stated verbatim. It's an automatic like shield defense. I mean,
Yeah.
context, blah blah.
Like it
And so,
blocks
like, it
things
promptly
Gaara isn't
protects him.
aware of.
Well, it's also inconsistent because it does stop Gaara's sand at first, and then Gaara just like turns it back on.
Yeah. Hey, Shikamaru got some good durability too, though, because Naruto punched with full force and he cracked Gaara's hand.
Gaara's sand armor cracked,
yeah,
Shikamaru
he takes
didn't.
damage. Yeah, he takes damage from that punch too. Like whatever happens to the person, he feels it too. So
I mean, but also Naruto versus Gaara at the very end, Gaara's mom doesn't stop Naruto's headbutt. Like she could obviously see that coming. There's no shadow possession to stop that. Same with Naruto's final punch on Gaara.
He can't barely reach him.
It's pretty obvious what he's trying to do there.
It's interesting shit. But anyways, just to backtrack. But that's the whole thing of like the whole like stupid, you know, why not like, you know, technically there's a lot of points and times where people are just fucking like the Raikage. He's another example. That motherfucker, like, why sacrifice your body parts when you can just pick up some fucking rubble or some big ass fucking rock rubble and just slam that into them? You know what I mean? Like use that as shields and shit and what? Like they don't fucking think.
Yeah, that's true.
They really don't.
Yeah.
They
For that one,
like, you know how many like animated fucking or people in the manga, whatever, like they'll literally use the environment, you know what I mean, to fight and what, or Hulk will use cars as fucking brass knuckles and shit, you know. So Raikage could easily replicate and do the same thing, but he's again like they just don't think.
So I agree. I think that looks bad for the Raikage.
He's not dumb, right? Like he is a Raikage, he is tech, you know what I mean? But again, it's just I don't think Kishimoto goes that far into like it really executing their intelligence.
He's meant to be hot-headed, clouded by anger.
Exactly. That's what it is. It's not an intelligence feat. It's not that he couldn't think of that. I do think narratively, it's because he's so disgusted with Sasuke. They're both monsters in this fight. I think he knew he could have done that and chose not to do that out of anger.
So much too. Yeah, it's definitely a mixture of all that. Like his emotions, his like in character, and that's what I'm saying. Like with Lee, that's why like it's unfortunate, but it's merely his personality and what he does in character, which kind of leads to his downfall. And most of, well, I'm not going to say anything more because I forget you guys got to still debate. But point being said is, you know, like a lot of the characters or their personalities can basically dictate their outcomes in fight. But if they actually really critically think when fighting, it could go a whole other way. You know. But,
yeah.
Like, for example, like, Lee wants to put his taijutsus better, so he's not going to use a paper bomb. That's not helping him. I guess he can touch it because it's a taijutsu, but it's not really his taijutsu. Whereas Naruto, he doesn't care what he's doing. He's just going to do anything he asks.
Well, I don't think that's fair. Sasuke's using anything in his arsenal, like the ninja ropes or whatever. He's using everything, bro.
Yeah.
What if Sasuke doesn't have this with him?
Some good shit. But no, when you guys eventually pick back up on it, you know, and you guys are all done, I'll definitely have a lot more to say, and
that's fair.
I'll pitch in some things that you guys either have thought of potentially or haven't, but but it is interesting. I just don't want to say too much because you guys still have to debate and whatnot, you know.
That's fair. That's fair.
Get like other people to like be our quote unquote judges.
If you want to, yeah. I mean, again, it's not really like it's an official thing. It's formal, quote unquote, but like we're chilling. It's like it's not the end of the world or whatever. Don't have to be fancy with it necessarily. But I do think now that we've done this part one, as much of a pain it is to schedule, let's probably try not to wait like 3 years to do the part two schedule.
Well, to be fair, that Friday, since we did today, we can always just do that Friday, right?
Oh yeah.
We can definitely figure it out. But just for clarification, guys, like for everyone on stream and whatnot, I'm not the official judge either. Nothing was ever agreed. Or
that's fine.
Give my thoughts. And again, I'm not really the biggest fan of doing that because you know it's for obvious reasons.
Yeah, nothing official. If anything, honestly, I was just asking out of curiosity because I wanted to personally know.
Oh no, of course.
It's not for official judgment or whatever.
So like for like fairness and equity reasons, like I'd say leave it to the audience and whatnot, or if we are gonna do judges, you guys can, you know, have your people, whatever.
I think the funniest thing is we just make polls. We just each set up a poll we want.
Yeah. But that's all, you know. And plus, most importantly, I fuck with all of you. So like I personally don't even like being in those situations because like I feel like if I pick a side or whatever, that I'm somehow hurting someone in the process, and I'm not really a fan. I'm not saying that that's what's happening to anyone, but like you know what I mean. It's a respect thing, right? You know, I don't necessarily like picking between anyone.
It's Kaneki being tortured by Jason.
I feel the same way. I wouldn't like to be a debate judge either.
That's what I'm saying. Now if I don't know the people and whatnot, then I don't give a fuck. You know what I mean? Like,
it's Jason asking Kaneki who doesn't live but who dies. Whatever.
Yeah. That's all it is.
All right.
Yeah.
Wow. Look at the time.
Damn. Yeah, it's late as fuck.
Yeah. I guess we'll have to end it there.
Yeah, we'll get back to it, folks. We'll reconvene when we get a chance. Go back to the. We'll put it on the speed, but we'll come back to it.
Yeah.
And we'll continue from there.
All right. Sounds good. Well, I appreciate y'all doing this. I don't know about you guys, but I had a blast.
It was fun for sure. Yeah. Definitely fun. Definitely could do it again for sure.
Yeah.
Alrighty, guys. You guys stay safe. Night.
Yeah, stay safe, y'all.
Sounds good. Hey, thanks for coming on and doing this.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. It's fun.
All right. See you guys.
See you later.
Peace.
Yeah. I think that's everything I wanted to say.
Yeah, one of my things is my headphones is dying and I'm honestly gonna pass out. I'm so tired. So
okay.
So
in other words, I was right when I said we should end.
I mean, yeah, but this was good.
As I said to Jay, we had a blast.
I can't even hear you anymore. Hold on.
Oh. Well, speaking of blasts, I guess we're gonna blast
I might be able
off
to hear
to
you now.
sleep.
Okay, bye.
Okay, bye. Kamui only heard the word sleep. That was the only word he heard.